Nate Butterball with your sports update. Tonight in New York City, it's the finale of award season as the Heisman ceremony goes down. Ohio State quarterback Julian Saint is one of 4 finalists, alongside Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia, and Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame. Last night, Caleb Downs took home the Jim Thorpe Award for the nation's best defensive back. Jeremiah Smith missed out on the Biletnikoff, going to USC's Mekhi Lemon. Downs, Smith, Caden McDonald, and Arvell Reese were named first-team All-Americans, with Julian Saint and Caden Curry named to the second team. OSU was the only school with 4 first-team selections. Fernando Mendoza took home the Davey O'Brien Award for Best Quarterback and the Walter Camp Award for the nation's best player. Later this afternoon, it's the annual Army-Navy game. Kickoff is just after 3 o'clock, and the Blue Jackets look to snap their 4-game skid tonight as they return to Nationwide Arena to take on Las Vegas. Puck drops at 7. Catch the action right here on The Fan. Breaking sports news when it happens to The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Fan is live and local with Fan Sports Saturday. The Fan Sports Day of the Week. Oh, this is some clever branding. Here's your host, place, name, here.
Well, my place name here is Matt Fontana. I might need to be introduced. He is Tim May. He needs no introduction.
You got that right.
Of Columbus, we got you for Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan. Tim May, Matt Fontana with you. Plenty to get to over the next 3 hours, including a build-up to tonight. And Tim, I mean, one of the most coveted trophies in all of sports, one of the coolest trophies in all of sports, and just one word, the Heisman, as we know. But Tim, it's a beautiful, glorious, cold Saturday. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. You know, the snow is supposed to be coming, right? You know, winter is coming, as they said in Game of Thrones. So we'll see what happens later this afternoon. But so far, so good. And you're right. This is one of those interesting days in sport where you're. I've been voting on the Heisman Trophy now for 42 years, and it's. Believe it or not, it's always intriguing in one form or fashion, even though there seems to be a slam dunk favorite some years, maybe even this year, right? But you keep hearing all these rumblings about a major contingent of votes for Diego Pavia coming from the Southeast. And then, of course, Mendoza with his Big Ten championship win just a week ago, Matt. It just seems like time flies now, right? But did he win that battle over Julian Saint and convince voters? The good thing about the Heisman voting is that it's electronic now, and the polls don't open. I think it was 6 p.m. last Saturday, and they closed at 6 p.m. on Monday. So there's no sending in your vote 2 weeks ahead of time and all that kind of stuff. You have to wait till all the results are in, before you can vote. But, yes, interesting that 3 Buckeyes made the top 9, right?
That is, and I was talking to Tyvis about this yesterday, Tim, and the last time that happened was USC, and then before that, it was the Buckeyes.
Yes.
Back in 1973, and then I believe 1969, as to have 3 players finish in the top 10, which I think is just an incredible statement for the players themselves, the roster that's been put together. And I'm so glad you brought that up about being a Heisman voter, because I'd love to pick your brain about this, about that voting. Obviously, everybody's got their different criteria. There's 900 voters, so it can go a lot of different ways. But as the years have gone on, is there that bias? Is that somebody just watches a guy more, or from the area that they're in, or the team that they cover? I mean, I guess that kind of goes with any award, right?
Yeah, but the thing about the Heisman folks is that they're more on top of things, I think, than some people give them credit. But now they have what are known as national voters. I think Bobby Carpenter, for example, was known as a national guy, meaning he's getting his credentials basically because he has national reach. He does stuff here for 97.1 The Fan. But he also does stuff for Sirius XM. And there are quite a few of those guys, or people, let me put it that way. I don't know how many of them are guys and gals, but then you have regional that they keep an eye on and make sure that you're covering football, that you're keeping up with football in some form or fashion. I think they govern it a lot stricter than they used to, like 20 years ago. And but the reason they went to the national ballot kind of guys, their votes don't count any more than mine does. But they went to that to give it, to kind of smooth out the edges, because college football has always been, for most part, a regional kind of attraction. You kind of keep up. In the old days, you kept up with teams more in your area. Like I cover Ohio State, so I know a lot about the Big Ten. I also know a lot about the MAC and everything going on around here. But, of course, in modern times, you can watch highlights on anybody, anytime, any day. And if you're sitting in my house with me, you'd see me watching football on YouTube and, replays and things like that probably 50% of my time, because that's how messed up my life is. Just ask my wife. But not everybody's like that. And so I think they've done a good job of sort of mollifying that and making it not quite as biased one way or the other. But if you get everybody, for example, in one region voting for one particular guy, and not that anybody's out there mustering the troops in that regard, but, the Southeastern Conference is kind of a clannish kind of thing, and so, if you get everybody giving Diego Pavia the lion's share of the votes out of one region, that can sway it. I mean, that can swing it. That doesn't mean he'll swing it all the way, but it's a very interesting dynamic in the final analysis.
It is, and then for tonight, even just for our interest of Julian Sayin, where, Tim, I want to say it's unfortunate just because I'm a Buckeyes fan, but he seems to be one of the long shots where this was a roller coaster all season where nobody, he was talked about in the preseason, but it was what? It was Arch Manning and Garrett Nussmeier. And by the midseason, you're like, okay, those guys are out. Here comes Sayin, here comes Mendoza, here comes Jeremiah Smith.
Right.
Jeremiah Love was a finalist. And by the end of it, here we are with Julian Sayin, who had a fantastic year. You heard Nate with the updates, second-team All-American. And I think last night, seeing Mendoza win the Davey O'Brien Award, the Maxwell Award, you kind of see maybe where that's going a little bit.
Those are harbingers.
But for Sayin tonight, yeah, and that's the thing. I think just even for him to be a finalist, I know he wants to win it. I want him to win it. But I just even think being in this situation where he's a finalist with a season left of eligibility coming back to the Buckeyes with Jeremiah Smith, who was a top 9 guy as well, like, I know he wants to win it. I know he's going to be in the conversation next year. I guess I'm kind of I'm like tempering my own expectations. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Julian Sayin's going to get his name called tonight for the Heisman, unfortunately.
Yeah, like 7 weeks ago, I couldn't get 6 out. 6 or 7 weeks ago, I was.
The whole thing about 6'7", too.
Yeah, exactly. 6-7 weeks ago, I was already forecasting. Whoever's listening to me, got my podcast, the Tim May Show and all that stuff. But you could see it coming, like I said, like two super tankers going through the Suez Canal right at each other. You could see Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza having their duel in the Lucas Oil Stadium, and not only for it deciding the Big Ten championship, but also deciding the Heisman Trophy. I do believe that's what we saw. No, we'll see. I vote. You're not supposed to give out your vote until after, and I have no problem with that stipulation at all until after the ceremony is done. But let me put it this way. The 3 guys on my final ballot, you get to vote for 3 guys. All 3 of my guys are in New York, and I'm not going to, push it any farther than that. But
Sure.
what really look at, like you said in 73, was Archie Griffin that close to winning 3 straight Heismans? Because, like you said, John Hicks, for example, Ohio State's incredibly talented offensive lineman then, took a bunch of votes away. I think he finished second, if I remember correctly, in the voting. And so Archie Griffin, I can't remember where he finished. I think maybe Randy Gradishar got votes in that. But
he did. So
right.
I got it up. John Capitelli of Penn State won it.
Capoletti,
John
yeah.
Hicks
Capoletti,
second.
yeah.
Capoletti.
Yeah.
Hicks won. Hicks finished second. Tim, he had 114 first place votes
Correct.
as a lineman.
Correct.
To finish second. You're right. Archie finished 5th. And then Gradishar finished 6th.
Yeah.
So they had 3 in the top 6 in 1973.
But what I'm getting to is you wonder how much with Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs also getting votes, finishing in the top 9 this year. That's really interesting. The Heisman, I don't think they revealed that last year. I think this might be the first time they revealed all the way the top 10, the 6 who aren't there, so to speak. And so you have to look at it and go, well, the way people vote, you're not going to vote for more than one guy from one team on your 3 slots, right? So did that take some of Julian Sayin's votes away also? So there are all kinds of dynamics involved in this in the final analysis. But yeah, John Hicks came out close to winning the Heisman Trophy. And but like I said, Archie Griffin was into running. He would have really pushed the stick out into the ocean there if he'd had 3 in a row. Oh my goodness.
I'm just looking at the stats, Tim. He had 1,428 yards on a 6.3 yards per carry average in 1973, the year he didn't win it. You're right, back to back.
Dude.
But at 1,400 yards in the year,
dude,
he didn't.
When you got a John Hicks, when you got John Hicks blocking for you and all those other guys on that line in 73, but then Chris Ward comes along and stuff, also in the College Football Hall of Fame. I mean, they were making the most. He was making the most of his opportunities. Archie was. He'll be the first one to tell you that. But, that's why I'm looking at Diego Pavia right now, and I really like him. I look at guys who elevate a program, right? And I voted for Ashton Jeanty last year for the Heisman ahead of Travis Hunter. I'm talking about he was my number one vote. I just thought he elevated Boise State. And I thought Travis Hunter was ridiculous as a two-way player. But Colorado was sort of so-so. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't think he did for Colorado what Ashton Jeanty did for Boise State. And, of course, I tell everybody, if you'd voted on the Heisman after everything last year, the national championship game, Will Howard would have won it, in my opinion, because he was on another level through those four playoff games. So, there's stuff going around now. I mean, a lot of pressure going on around now, maybe pushing it back behind the national championship game. The reason they've never done that is because you got to their idea is everybody gets a fair shot, which means you cut it off pretty much after the regular season, right? Because some guys don't get to play in the postseason, or at least they didn't back then. Now there's enough bowls for to feed cereal to hundreds. But the bottom line is that's why they do that. But I truly believe your best player can be playing for the team that wins it all. And I thought Will Howard stepped up like nobody's business in the 4 games of the playoff.
It's funny you bring up Will Howard, because I want to get into this conversation with you next. And, we might even throw this out as our Twitter question this morning here on The Fan. What cements a quarterback's legacy more at Ohio State? Winning a national championship or winning a Heisman? So we'll talk about that coming up. And I do want to hear from Julian Sayin. Tim was on with Bo yesterday, Bishop and Friends. Julian Sayin joined them. Get the full replay, 97.1 The Fan, YouTube side of things. But we got a couple clips. It's something, Tim, you and I were talking about, this stretch of time off. The Buckeyes aren't going to play for a while. We only have one college football game today. So you guys asked Julian about that. We'll hear from Julian Sayin coming up about why he came to Ohio State. And the other news from yesterday, Jeremiah Smith does not win the Biletnikoff Award. We'll get to all of it coming up. We've just started right here, Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan. Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron, how is a regular water heater different from a tankless water heater?
A regular water heater keeps a tank of water hot and ready for you to use when you need it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
And a tankless water heater?
A tankless water heater instantly heats the water for you whenever you need it, so you never run out of hot water.
Get Eco.
ECO. That's what makes regular water heaters and tankless water heaters different.
But they're also both alike.
Yes, they are.
They both heat water.
Get Eco.
ECO. But there's another way they are like.
What's that?
They both need to be flushed out once a year if you want to avoid big problems.
Well, I have a solution.
Really?
EcoFi Advantage. Flushing out your water heaters is just one of the long list of things they do for you every year for just $28 a month.
Get Eco.
ECO.
EcoFi Advantage.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Do you hate holiday pictures because of your teeth? What if a brand new smile was possible?
No matter what the current state of your mouth.
Welcome to Runyon Dental Group, home of the Implant and Smile Center,
where gorgeous, healthy smiles become a reality.
At Runyon, we've built a team of some of the most highly trained arch and implant doctors in the entire nation. This isn't an ordinary dental practice.
We believe that everyone can have a great smile.
Including you, especially you. Your new smile is waiting at Runyon Dental Group.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bob, why should people trust you for their holiday shopping this year?
Family owned and operated for 25 years. We're known for helping guys make great decisions, unlike me hiring you, Common Man.
You know, I was thinking, I've been a good, clean boy this year. You got anything for me over there?
How about a nice anklet?
Sold! Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. We teamed up with High Bank Distillery Co. and picked 2 new Whiskey Wars single barrels. First up, the PX Double Oaked, finished in Pedro Jimenez Sherry Cask. Then there's the French Oak Cognac finish, rich, creamy, with notes of caramel. These Whiskey War Barrel Select bottles are single barrels. Once they're gone, they're gone. We also teamed up with the Ronald McDonald House, which helps provide comfort, care, and support for families with children who are sick around the world. This December, find a bottle near you at ohlq.com or learn more at highbankdistillery.com. Please drink responsibly.
'Tis the season to not feel groggy. I know that's not how the song goes, but it's how the rush of the holidays can make us feel. Eric Reeser here and my friends at Hydrate Me Med Spa have the goods to keep you looking and feeling your best as the year comes to an end. 4 convenient locations in Central Ohio offering medical-grade IV and aesthetic treatments. If you're like me and get a little queasy at the thought of an IV, not a big needle person, I get it. But their staff of incredible certified nurse practitioners makes the process easy. Get your body ready for a successful holiday season by booking your drip today at hydratememedspa.com.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. I mean, it was, we had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, the knowledge accumulated and shared, with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Together, we will make cures possible for every child everywhere. Learn more at stjude.org.
Love football, love wings. Put those bad boys together and you get Austin and Byrne live at Roosters.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Large amounts of football and all the donkey sauce you can handle. Mondays on the Fans YouTube channel. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A winter weather advisory has been issued here for today, as snow is expected to arrive for this afternoon and will continue through this evening. Total snowfall accumulations of 2 to 5 inches are expected through tonight. And then we are talking about colder air settling in after the snow ends. Temperatures drop down to about 9 degrees here for the overnight hours, with wind chill factors down near and even below 0. And that colder weather will stick around here for your Sunday with highs in the teens. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Heisman Trophy announced tonight. Julian saying a finalist. Buckeyes was some All-American, but there was one miss, at least if you're a Buckeyes fan, from the College Football Awards last night. It is Fan Sports Saturday here on The Fan. I'm Matt Fontana. He is Tim May. And I guess, Tim, like Jeremiah Smith, with how good he is, how electric he is, like not winning the Blitnikoff, I guess I just assumed, right? Like
right.
I just assumed, and that's not a shot at Makai Lemon, who USC, he's very good. Jordan Tyson at Arizona State is very good, but I just with how good Jeremiah was last year into this year, and I know the stats weren't quite the same. He missed a game due to injury. But I just one of those ones, like, if you would have told me before the season he wasn't going to win it, I would have thought he would have missed most of the season or something would have happened like that. He didn't. And I'm not trying to take this away from Lemon, who is deserving to win very much so. But, Jeremiah Smith posted last night on Twitter. He sounds like he took that personally, that he didn't win the Blitnikoff Award. And a lot of people are saying, man, watch out for a motivated Jeremiah Smith in the playoffs. Just, I guess, your take, Tim, on Jeremiah not taking home the best. And for those that don't know, Blitnikoff is the best wide receiver in college football. And I do think it is Jeremiah Smith. I do.
Yeah. I vote on the Blitnikoff Award as well. And I had him number 1 and Makai Lemon number 2. And, you never, like you say, you never know how other people are voting. And the thing about Jeremiah, I mean, their stats, if you put their stats up next to each other, that's a push, And
they're basically identical.
Yeah, and they,
Right.
Jeremiah I think had 11 touchdown catches, and so did Lemon. Lemon had three other touchdowns, and Jeremiah had 1, rushing. But the bottom line is, other than that, it's a push. So then it becomes, who did guys vote for, and why Lemon got the nod on a team that that underachieved to a certain extent, you could say, or maybe overachieved based on where they've been playing the last several years. I'm talking about USC. That's you got to interview every voter, I think, to get that answer. But it is what it is. I mean, I thought you were going to quote verbatim the little clip that Jeremiah posted on his website, talking about how vengeance. In essence, what it said was, vengeance shall be mine. But
it was anybody that basically had righted me wrong, right? Like, that's kind of what the essence of it was.
Yeah,
if you're watching on Twitter, really safe for work for some people. But it was like, and like I want a motivated Jeremiah Smith, and it's like, Tim, I looked at it because I thought he deserved it last year. I know Travis Hunter won the Heisman, so like therefore,
right? I'm with you.
Have to give him the Blitnikoff because of that, but. I mean, Jeremiah's stats last year were insane. That was the only thing that I tried to wrap my brain around. The rationale was this wasn't so much about Makai Lemon versus Jeremiah Smith. It might have been Jeremiah Smith 2025 versus Jeremiah Smith 2024. And I'm like, well, yes, very much. Last year was incredible for a true freshman. He didn't have the yardage there. So, I don't know. To your point, if you had two guys that were so similar, and then when you add on what Jeremiah did last year, which I guess you're not supposed to do, it's an individual yearly award. I understand that, but
right.
I don't understand that. But tell me that he's not going to be a number one goal of winning a national championship, but next year for Jeremiah Smith, he's going to be on the path to go win that Blitnikoff. Sure.
Yeah, of course he had those 4 extra games last year. He's going to have. There's a chance he could have 3 extra games this year. Like I said, I mean, let's wait till all the campaigning is done before you vote, right? I mean, that's the way you could look at it. But also, he missed 1 full game, and half of another game was banged up, but ended up playing against Michigan and making a difference in that game. Ended up playing against Indiana. Had a couple of big catches in that game. He had 8 total catches, I think, against Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. Didn't get a touchdown catch, but there were only 2 touchdowns scored total in the game, 1 by each team. So, he just maybe didn't have that huge moment at the end, but, really neither did Makai Lemon when you think about it in terms of impact. So it comes down to it. I know we can sit here and parse it, left, right, and upside and downside, but when you back up a year like he had last year with the year he's had so far this year, that just shows Jeremiah Smith, despite all the attention he was getting from a coverage standpoint, is still a big-time, over-the-top talent. And then you throw in there, what Carnell Tate's presence both helped and maybe hurt Jeremiah Smith's bid. It is what it is when you're a team and you've got 2 guys of that caliber playing wide receiver, and then you got a pinpoint passer like Julian's saying. I mean, I think a lot of people then sit down and go, well, they're playing on the greatest team, the most talented team in America. That's the way those people talk, by the way. So they should be having big numbers. That's not necessarily the case. You know that, and I know that. So we're hemming and hawing here. The bottom line is, I think, in my opinion, because I voted for Jeremiah Smith was robbed last night. And I think with the video he posted, not of himself speaking, but of someone else speaking for him, I think he got the idea, left the idea that he felt like he was robbed in broad daylight. So we'll see where it goes.
And I do appreciate that meaning something to Jeremiah Smith.
Yes.
Right? Like this is a young man that has all the talent in the world. We live in the NIL world. He's going to be a high draft pick in the NFL draft, not this year, but obviously next year after next season. So, there could be a side of that, Tim, where he just goes, I got everything. Like, I'm good, right? Like, my team's pushing for national championship. That doesn't matter to me. Like, I appreciated that so much to see from Jeremiah. I'm with you. I thought he got robbed. And for him to have the want to win that award, I thought really said something about him, because it means something to him.
Let me tell you something. Jeremiah Smith is hard to explain to people. He's the most confident, humble guy I've almost ever met. I mean, in his mind, there is nobody better than him. I mean, I'm just based on interviews with him, but he's so down to earth, matter of fact about things. You ask him a question, he will give you his answer to it. That's confidence right there, right, for a young man. And then on top of it, as the old saying goes, turn on the tape, But, Mekhi Lemon had some hellacious plays this year also. And USC is not quite there, obviously, in terms of being a total football team like Ohio State is, but that shouldn't take away from what Jeremiah Smith, the most targeted man when it comes to coverage maybe in America, brings to the table. And we saw Ohio State's passing game without Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate in one game, and it was still good, but not on the level you expect, right, from on a Saturday. So, even Julian Sayin missed him, and Julian Sayin might have missed out on a couple other touchdown passes this year if those guys had been around that day.
And it's also another point of it. We're going to hear from Julian Sayin coming up, too, about just the situation with the Buckeyes. But I think, too, Tim, this is their first year together. And I know they had a lot of preseason reps, and, that is important. And they came out of the gate with a huge game, and they played all season. But there's still something to be said about the growth between a receiver and a quarterback. And just, again, the high expectations I'm going to put on these guys for next year because they have had a full season. And, frankly, my high expectations for this playoff run, because now they've got this little time off to kind of, clean up maybe some of the fine, nitpicky type of things with the route trees and the offense and things like that. But that's where I'm trying to pull the positives out of this time off. Speaking of the time off, you got plenty of time before the Buckeyes play again. We'll hear from Julian Sayin on that. He sat down with Tim and Bo yesterday. You get the replay on the YouTube side of things, 97.1 The Fan. But we heard from Julian talk about the time off. We'll discuss that. We'll get all of it coming up. We're back in just 2 minutes right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony, and it's Happy Honda Days at your main Honda of Dublin. What am I going to give you? How about rates as low as 0%? You want no payments for 90 days? You got it. Do you have a trade-in? I'll make sure Rich gives you an extra $1,000 for your trade. Yep, an extra $1,000. Or I'll slide you right into a brand new Honda with leases starting from only $239 a month. Happy Honda Days right now at your main Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at yourmainhondaofdublin.com.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. We carry a great selection of Bosch tools in stock. Whether you need to rip, cut, drill, or drive, Bosch Power Tools provide the power you need for tackling the toughest jobs. Save big on Bosch cordless power tools right now at Menards. View our entire selection of Bosch Power Tools today on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for great deals happening this week.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Julian Sain going for the Heisman tonight, and he was so gracious enough to stop by Bishop and Friends yesterday. Tim May was on that show. He's on this show today. I'm Matt Fontana alongside. We'll take you up to 1 o'clock today here on The Fan. And the push, for Julian Sain with the Heisman, and, Tim, obviously I expect him to be in that conversation very much next year. This season for Julian, I thought was, it's like the hype, right? Like, we know Will Howard was here. But when Julian Sain transferred out of Alabama, you're like, this is something big, right? Like a 5-star guy, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to let him sit behind Will Howard. And then you start this season, you're like, bam, right out of the gate, he's got to go play Texas. And I just feel like even the Big Ten championship game aside, which I feel like a week later I'm still very upset about, but it is what it is. Like, I feel like he's checked so many boxes, and so many boxes that I had lofty expectations and goals of Julian Sain. Like, we see 5-star kids all the time that just don't work out. I'm not saying necessarily at Ohio State, but just in college football that have all the hype, have all this, and it just for some reason it doesn't work. So, like, to see a guy like Julian Sain who had all of, and the same thing about like Jeremiah Smith and even Caleb Downs when he transferred up here, these guys have just lived up to every expectation thus far. Already won a national championship. I want Julian. I expect him to go win a national championship this year as a starter. But even to this point of his season, I've just been so impressed with his game.
Yeah, what stands out? Number one, when you're looking for a quarterback, number one, can he throw it? Can he throw it exceptionally? Yeah, check. Does he get it? Is he big enough? He's 6'1", 6'1.5", 11, 12 pounds. Now he's put on about 10 pounds, 12 pounds since he showed up at Ohio State, maybe more than that.
You got him working.
Yeah, exactly. Then number 3, can he move? Yes. Check. I think the biggest revelation for most people this year has been his footwork, the almost polished nature he showed up, but definitely under Billy Fessler, the quarterback's coach, he's definitely improved even in that realm of staying on platform and being able to, throw the ball in all kinds of different ways. But the main thing is making sure you're square when you throw the ball, and he's done that. But then can he move and get out of harm's way? Yes. Check mark. So, yeah, and then can he move and throw the ball on the run? Check. So, he's pretty much got everything you want. He's smooth. But then on top of that, can he handle the mental aspect of the game, which is, was it old saying goes, it's 90% mental and 35% physical, But he definitely has shown he can handle the mental aspect of it and read coverages. And, he's had a few plays you can point out where you wished, if you're the quarterback coach or Ryan Day, he'd thrown it another place, but he didn't necessarily get there in the read. But those are few. And he's lived up to all that. And is he calm? Does he keep his cool under pressure? Check. So, that's why he's in New York City, Manhattan today, and we're not.
Yeah, well, he started with Columbus. Well, it really started with Tuscaloosa. Now up to Columbus.
Dude, that was 3 weeks. That was 3 weeks in Tuscaloosa. I mean, I lived in Alabama for 11 years, but I got out of there too.
Yeah, that's true. Tim May plays the path for Caleb Downs, and Julian Sain just come on up north. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, I thought this was a great question yesterday. Again, Julian Sain stopped by, Bishop and Friends, Tim and Bo were on the show, and the question was kind of that process of finding his way to Ohio State and really why he chose to become a Buckeye. Here's Julian Sain yesterday on Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, I think I wanted to come to Ohio State, just because of the tradition here, the quarterback development that Coach Day has and, the talent around you, an offense and a great defense. So I think it's all kind of played out as to the way I wanted it to. We still have more football left to play, but from a perspective of what I wanted in a school, I think it's been awesome.
And that was Julian saying it. And Tim, I mean, I'm a lifelong Buckeye fan, and it's the quarterbacks were always great college quarterbacks, but then some of them didn't really always transfer to the pros. Like, again, run through the names. Krenzel, Braxton Miller was one of the most electric, one of the best football players I've ever seen in college. Ended up playing wide receivers last year, wide receiver in the pros. We kind of know what happened with Terrell Pryor. But then all of a sudden, really starting with Urban and has picked up with Ryan Day, you watched C.J. Stroud, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields. You've watched these guys all of a sudden become high draft picks and guys that can play and are playing on that next level. So I thought that was so interesting to hear from Julian Sain because, number one, it is true. But that has just become the factory of Ohio State. We know the receivers they've turned out. We know the amazing running backs, the offensive linemen that are in the NFL, the defensive players. But quarterback wasn't always the case, but it certainly is now.
Oh, absolutely, man. And it is interesting, the sort of the metamorphosis. Is that the word I'm looking for? But then they got so far away from maybe – the run game aspect of things that's why last year was such an evolutionary move for this team too under Ryan Day, is all of a sudden you had two of the best backs, guys who got drafted high, on your team too, and an offensive line that came together at exactly the right time. And suddenly, Will Howard blossomed at Ohio State as a passer, and Billy Fessler, I keep going back to him, man. The work they did with him from the beginning of the season last year to the end. Go back and watch video of Will Howard at the beginning and his mechanics and everything else, throwing the ball, and the way he left. He ended up being a draft choice. Matter of fact, I thought he was robbed in the draft in the sense of going all the way back down to the 6th round. But and then he got hurt, of course, in Pittsburgh Steelers camp and is sitting out this year. But my point is, you can just see the evolution of these quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud from that first game against Minnesota, when at halftime people were calling for Kyle McCord to be the guy, to the way C.J. Stroud blossomed the next year in 9/10. I mean, it's crazy the talent that they've gotten in here, but then the way that talent has improved. And I think that's what stands out as much about this. That's why with Julian Sain, obviously, he had considered Ohio State big time before he signed with Alabama, and there was a good chance he was going to be Nick Saban's last starting quarterback. But then Nick Saban abruptly retired, and Julian went to where he had already had a relationship, and that was with Ohio State and Ryan Day and these coaches. So, yeah, it is kind of cool to watch it become an attraction, not just for wide receivers, but for quarterbacks. But you know what? If you pour honey, somewhere, the ants are going to find it, right? I mean, so these quarterbacks are understanding you're going to be throwing to a special group of wide receivers. The next of which is coming is Chris Henry. I mean, Ryan Day made that point to Chris Henry when, I don't know if you saw that video of Chris Henry calling him to tell him he was recommitting and going to sign with Ohio State, and Ryan pointed out he's going to be working with Julian Sain and Jeremiah Smith, right? So this is kind of like passing you right now.
And another part of that, because as you were saying that, another part that I really liked was when Ryan Day said to Chris Henry, goes, we'll take care of you. We're going to take care of you here. And that's an important part
development
of not, and again, yeah, it's just so a big part of that, of just not even just taking care of a young man, in life, but in like when it comes to football. And I think about that where Tavian St. Clair is a little bit different, right? Because he as he has said himself, he's a born and bred Buckeye. Like, he was never not going to come to Ohio State, and he's there now, but Brady Edmonds coming out of California,
yep.
like, Ohio State has become that destination where, yeah, back in the day, it used to be all big players. Pretty much everybody would have Ohio State on their list. But I really do think, Tim, and even for now, the quarterbacks, when it's different. Receivers, there's multiple of them. Linemen, there's multiple of them. There are one quarterback out there.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot, even for a guy like Tavian St. Clair who had plenty of options to say, I know I'm going to sit for at least 2 years.
I think Tavian St. Clair.
But I still want to come here and play.
Exactly. I think Tavian St. Clair could be a real baller, man. I'm just, we'll see.
Excited.
We'll see. And there's nothing wrong with waiting and getting your shot. And then if it doesn't work out for you, whose fault is that? Who knows? But in this world, you can then move on and find another place to get a shot, right? But yeah, I mean, you've got to always be trying to get the best you can get because of the transfer portal aspect of things, right? And so Ohio State wants to get at least one big time quarterback every cycle.
And that's the thing, to have them, and again, like to your point, whatever kind of shakes out, however things work out, it's better to have them there. And, like you said earlier, the relationships that Julian Sain came to Columbus because of the relationships that were built. And
correct.
I don't say burning bridges, because a lot of coaches don't do that in college, but still to understand, hey, you made your decision to go to Alabama, we're always here. And to your exact point, he was there for a couple of early I don't even know if it was practice.
No, he got to practice with them
in January.
Yeah, he got to practice with them before they played Michigan in the college football playoff, and then the hammer came down the next week, and you kind of go, ooh.
Change it is, and he comes up to Columbus. Well, speaking of a former Ohio State quarterback that didn't necessarily get his shot with the Buckeyes, but it worked out for Joe Burrow in a way. Down in Cincinnati, Tim, we're going to turn to the pro side here because the Bengals, T. Higgins already ruled out for this weekend. Joe Burrow's making some I'm not having fun playing football comments. But then there was a really interesting article on ESPN from Ben Baby talking for Jamar Chase that there is no negativity surrounding the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll turn our attention over to the pro side of things and what exactly is going on with the Bengals. We'll get all of it coming up. This is Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Everyone deserves a great car, regardless of credit. At Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall, we say yes to all credit types. Explore our selection, get financed in minutes, and own the road. Stop in today or visit us online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The Ohio Lottery's Powerball jackpot has soared to at least $1 billion. That's right. Over $1 billion is up for grabs. It's the 7th largest Powerball jackpot in history. So don't wait. Pick up your ticket before 10 o'clock tonight. 'Tis the season for holiday scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Because with lots of ways to win, 6 great games, and millions in prizes, scratch-offs can turn any day into a holiday. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
They're trained. They're fired up. Let's do it. When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, Milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Your credit doesn't define your ride. Capital Florida Columbus and Whitehall approves all credit types, good, bad, or rebuilding. Get behind the wheel today. Call 614-861-7150 or apply online at capitalfloridacolumbus.com.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. Okay.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Are you tired of paying retail prices? Then you've got to check out ColumbusAuctions.com, the online auction with pickup right here in Columbus, specializing in overstock products. Bidding starts at just $5. That's right, for only $5, you could score something that retails for $100. Most items come from places like Amazon, Lowe's, and Walmart, and if the listing is wrong or the item's broken, they'll give you a full refund. Plus, ColumbusAuctions.com offers a 14-day pickup. If you love deals on just about anything, try the new way to shop in Columbus at ColumbusAuctions.com.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war. Backed by scientific research, Canines for Warriors has transformed the lives of more than 1,000 veterans, helping them reclaim their independence. To find out more, please visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Back in the day, if you wanted to listen to the fan, you turned on the radio, and that was the end of the story. But now, oh baby, stream us live on the Fan app, TuneIn app, iHeart app, we're everywhere. The Fan, Ohio's streaming destination. Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Big day for the NFL tomorrow. A lot of playoff implication type of games. College, just one game today. I know Tim May, Matt Fontana with you, Fan Sports Saturday. Super excited to talk about the Army-Navy game coming up a little bit later today. And I do love that it's just the respect for that game. It's always by itself. You sit down, you watch it. It's great. So we'll get to that coming up in a little bit. But to the pro side of things, this week, if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I don't want to say concerned, Tim, but obviously there's something going on with Joe Burrow right now. So this week, he comes out, he has a press conference, and I think everybody knows where the Bengals situation is. They're not going to make the playoffs. They fell too far behind. Burrow had a turf toe injury earlier in the season, missed a good chunk of it. And even though he's back, and he looks like his old self, and the Bengals look like a team that should be in the playoffs if he'd have been healthy, he's not. He made comments this week about not having fun playing football, and why would he keep doing it if he's not having fun? You know, we'll talk about what Jamar Chase had to say in a little bit, Tim, but like to hear that from a guy like Joe Burrow, I get where he's coming from in a way that I'm sure the injuries are beating him down, and I think the frustrating thing would be there's not a solution to stop the injuries, right? Like back in the day, used to be like, or not back in the day, but a couple years ago, the offensive line for the Bengals is so bad, and they keep getting Joe Burrow hurt. Okay, well they spent money, they can't stop him getting tackled awkwardly and twisting his toe and suffering a turf toe injury and being out. So, I think that's probably the frustrating thing from Joe Burrow. He'd love to have an answer to these injury problems, and that's an unsolvable puzzle. That is an unanswerable question about how you stop the injuries. I think that's why he's frustrated.
Well, just imagine all the training you do, et cetera, just not just physically but mentally to get ready for a season. And, we've seen his season circumvented several times as a professional. That's how many times can you come back, right? I mean, the work you have to put in, and then the anguish you have to go through of not playing. And believe me, all these guys, I know a lot of people don't believe it, but I've been around too many of these guys, and I do believe it from the standpoint of you're always worried when you get hurt and somebody else goes in playing your position that you have won, if you worked hard for it to win and put the time in, all of a sudden, if that guy gets hot, you could be, what was it, Wally Pipp, the guy that Lou Gehrig replaced. The bottom line is, Lou Gehrig went on to set the record for those who don't know anything about baseball, and I don't know very much, the record for most consecutive games played long ago before Cal Ripken Jr. came along. But the bottom line is, you put in all that work, and then boom, you're sitting there watching Joe Flacco, right, play, and he was cheering him and talking with him and stuff. For example, that's just part of the mental anguish he goes through. I don't know if you watched it, Matt, but that quarterback series from Netflix from last season, there was one episode in particular, one part of one episode that encapsulated sort of Joe Burrow's plight the last many years. I think they had gone down and just beaten. They had just had a tremendous game and beaten the Cowboys at Dallas, if I remember correctly. And all of a sudden, Burrow's in there in the postgame. He's real happy. He checks his phone, and I think he got a message. I think it was from his girlfriend who was living at their house, in their house, and his house had been broken into and robbed, and he was about to buy the Batmobile, the original Batmobile from Burt Ward and Adam West fame, and all of a sudden that got put on hold. But the point was, imagine you just had one of the great moments of your year, your season, and boom, you're brought back down to earth because some yahoos decided. That was when all those athletes, remember, homes were getting robbed, and so that takes it out of you, because not only did you get robbed and lose valuable stuff, but somebody knows where you live and was brazen enough,
extremely
brazen enough to walk in. Yeah, I mean it's crazy what they can do to you, because that happened to me and my wife one time way back a long time ago, and it just makes you feel so vulnerable. It's nuts, and you don't trust anybody. And then on top of that, now that you come along and get the turf toe, everybody thinks turf toe. This is the way those people talk too. Turf toe, I'll bet a turf toe. Well, turf toe is a major sprain of your foot, and
terrible.
Yeah, you can't walk on it literally. And I mean, I'm just going by what people have told me. They need to rename it like major foot sprain, instead of turf toe.
That's right. Yeah.
Or something like that. But it does catch up. And then when you come back and you kind of busted your rear end to come back a little early from this injury. I mean, you probably he still shouldn't be playing, I mean, this was about the time he should have come back, as a matter of fact. But you just want to be part of it all. And then when you come back, I think, as he pointed out, they could still make the playoffs if all kinds of things happened, right? But the bottom line is, you're out there playing, and for what, right? But what are you playing for except for a win, and maybe to make bettors happy, and maybe to make your teammates happy? But that's what always gets me about the NFL seasons. When they get to this point, the teams that have no shot are still going out there and playing games, and that's got to be really tough on you mentally.
And especially when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow, or even the situation in Washington with Jaden Daniels, where this is the future, this is the franchise, we know we're not going anywhere. There's a fine line of, I want to go out there and play because it's, what I do and it's my job, and I want to be out there for my teammates, versus the team sitting there and saying, yes, we're completely done. Like, how, I know it wasn't major with Jaden Daniels when he re-aggravated that injury, but he's already ruled out for this week. Like, rule him out for the year. It's over. Like, we're done here. And I get that could be received poorly in the locker room, but you got to think about the big picture. And that kind of gets me back to the Burrow side of it, where and I can't think of a better word, so apologize for the word I'm going to use, but like the mortality of a quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, you sit there and be like, oh, look, Phillip Rivers is 44. He's playing. Joe Burrow is going to play for 15, 17 years in the pro. We don't know that.
Nope.
He doesn't know that.
Nope.
And you think about the prime of your career, he's in it, and to sit here and say, this is a wasted season in the prime of my career. Am I ever going to get back to that Super Bowl? Joe Burrow is a good enough quarterback that he should be going to multiple Super Bowls and probably winning one in his career. But, Tim, we know we could say that about a lot of quarterbacks. That guy was so talented. How didn't he win a Super Bowl?
Dan Marino.
Yeah, right. Exactly,
There's one.
Right. Like you got such a small window to try to cash that in, on top of your team being built and having the right receivers and having the right coach and all that.
And
I'm
defense.
sure that's weighing on Joe Burrow. Yeah, defense, right. And that's the Bengals really.
Look at last year.
At this point.
Look at last year, how ridiculous that was, the points they scored and the fewer games they won. And then you look up and, how many times? I mean, I haven't seen this stat, but I'd like to see how many times Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase have all been all ready to go in a game. How many times those games have happened where you've got all three of those guys running around out there? We with Julian saying we were talking about earlier. No, I mean Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith are the Jamar Chase, T. Higgins of college football, and yet it's been rare to see all three of those guys playing at the same time on top of everything else. But, what you know about Joe Burrow is he thrives on competition. He thrives on going out there and beating the defense across the field. But then it comes that point where, you only get to play on offense. You don't get to stop a team from driving all the way down the field after you've gotten a lead. No lead is ever safe. The last several years with the Bengals. So that's got to weigh on you too, man. You've got to be playing at a supreme level every week to have a chance. Now I say that he was on the opposite of that level when they opened against the Browns this year, but they still won a game. So then you're looking at that as a harbinger of, hey, maybe the worm has turned. We can win without Joe Burrow being Superman. I mean, pro football throws curveballs at you all day. There's no such thing as fastballs right down the middle of the plate. And so it is what it is in that term. But I can see the frustration. Just interesting that Joe, who's been a semi-private guy for the most part, but he would let you know his feelings. I know when he was in Ohio State that he would reveal that to you this week was interesting.
Very much so. All right, this is a quick Google, so don't hold me to this. But record Joe Burrow with T. Higgins on the field is 36-24-1 in their career. Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase on the field is 36-22. Now, obviously, there's overlap because they've played, a lot of those games. But really, the way to look at it is they're both above 500, 12 games above 500. They're much better off with those guys on the field. A crazy story. Tim, you've been covering sports a long time. I want to get your thoughts on the Sherrone Moore situation. That was just an absolute bombshell that came down Wednesday night. The aftermath, we know he got arraigned and officially charged yesterday. We'll focus maybe more on the football side of things and kind of where Michigan goes here, because I think the biggest question that remains is Michigan still a desirable job for some top candidates with everything that's happened? We'll get to all that coming up. You're listening to The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Shop Meijer and bring more special savings to your family's holiday season. Savory Meijer Spiral Sliced Half Ham is just 79 cents a pound with M-Perks. Limit 1 per customer, no clipping necessary. And a 3-pound bag of yellow or red potatoes is buy one, get one for $1. Make sure your pantry is loaded up for holiday baking. A 2-pound bag of Meijer Light Brown Sugar and Meijer 15-ounce pie crust are $1.99 each. Make the holidays a good deal better at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, are we still doing that crazy thing you said?
Which crazy thing do you mean, Jerry?
The one where we give away up to $1,500 in free repairs on furnaces?
Get Eco.
ECO.
Yes, Jerry, we'll be doing that $1,500 giveaway from now on.
But why? It's crazy.
People are being told they need a whole new furnace when all they really need is a minor repair.
So we're saying they should call Eco to repair it and keep repairing it until someday when they really do need a new HVAC system.
We'll give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old furnace and air conditioner.
When they let us install the new ones.
All those extra years of service that they squeezed out of their old furnace and air conditioner become a free gift from Eco.
Does any other company do this?
Of course not, Jerry. It's crazy.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Generous plumbers, Merry Christmas electricians, and buy a kid a new toy this year, HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
This year, give them a gift that helps them make the shelf, not a gift that ends up collecting dust on one. During Lowe's December deal drops, get 2 free Select DeWalt tools when you buy a Select DeWalt 5 amp hour battery kit. Plus, all rewards members get free standard shipping. Shop December deal drops today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/17. While supplies last. Free shipping excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to change. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-691-9999. That's 800-691-9999.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
I'm Nate Butterball with your sports update. Tonight in New York City, it's the finale of awards season as the Heisman ceremony goes down. Ohio State quarterback Julian Saint is one of 4 finalists, alongside Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia, and Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame. Last night, Caleb Downs took home the Jim Thorpe Award for the nation's best defensive back. Jeremiah Smith missed out on the Biletnikoff, going to USC's Mekhi Lemon. Downs, Smith, Caden McDonald, and Arvell Reese were named first-team All-Americans, with Julian Saint and Caden Curry named to the second team. OSU was the only school with 4 first-team selections. Fernando Mendoza took home the Davey O'Brien Award for Best Cornerback and the Walter Camp Award for the nation's best player. Later this afternoon, it's the annual Army-Navy game. Kickoff is just after 3 o'clock, and the Blue Jackets look to snap their 4-game skid tonight as they return to Nationwide Arena to take on Las Vegas. Puck drops at 7. Catch the action right here on The Fan. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Taking you up to 1 o'clock, Matt Fontana, Tim May with you. We're going to revisit the Buckeyes and Julian Saint coming up in a little bit because Buckeyes are off. And Julian Saint was on Bishop and Friends yesterday, and he spoke about that time off and just kind of where Ohio State is at. We do have the Army-Navy game today and a full slate of the NFL side of things tomorrow. But, Tim, really, this week has been dominated by the Sherrone Moore situation with Michigan. I think everybody's probably seen it at this point, where the first shock was that it comes out Wednesday that he was pretty much immediately fired from Michigan with cause. Everybody had kind of heard the rumors, and there was all those things surrounding it. They kind of understood what it was. Then what happened Wednesday night and what happened yesterday when he was officially charged with a felony, and then also multiple misdemeanors for breaking in the home of his former assistant and making threats and things like that. And, you know, Tim, it's hard to talk about because I frankly think so much of the lives impacted. You know, Sherrone Moore's daughters, his wife, the family's impacted by this, and certainly that's not lost on any of us, just how sad this situation is kind of devolved into. And I've said it all week, is that these were the actions of Sherrone Moore. I see people trying to say, well, Michigan was out to get him, or there were people hire investigators, and I go, well, they needed to make sure they had an ironclad situation because there's a lot of money involved.
Correct.
In firing with cause or without cause. They were investigated allegedly over the summer, and they said no, nothing was happening. And then it just goes really fast at the end, where allegedly she came to Michigan with evidence and text messages, and it kind of turns around that way. So I'm certainly sympathetic to the other side of it, and it really is just such a sad situation from that side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never know, right? I mean, you never know what's really going on. And I think that hit a lot of people sideways. Everybody, all these media guys are now saying, well, there were whispers and there were all this kind of stuff, but, they didn't find anything. Well, and then some people are, kind of rip the people that cover Michigan. Why didn't you know this and reveal it? Well, I don't think our job is to have 24/7 surveillance on Ryan Day or Jake Diebler or anything. I mean, it's, you expect people in simplistic terms, you expect people to live pretty much a morally good life, right? And then you find out
these contracts have what moral
Oh
clauses.
yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. But
that's what they cite when they fire these people.
That's up to the university to follow it. If they wanted to put somebody on it, and maybe they could have found it out a lot sooner, or at least gotten concrete proof. I mean, whenever there's smoke, there's some fire for whatever reason. And but then past that, the thing is, when they finally got the concrete proof, the way we understand it, they acted quickly. Ward Manuel and them did. And I'm not absolving Ward Manuel of any, blame one way or the other, but in terms of not maybe acting earlier instead of quickly. But they did act quickly. Obviously, he did, because it caught Sherrone Moore clearly unawares that he was about to get fired. And he got fired. So, yeah. And then when a guy does what he did, there's some mental questions going on there that need to be addressed, along with the fact of the wrongdoing. And but then you move on from that. You have like all these football players and a program, and now everybody's talking about a cleanse from the Harbaugh regime, et cetera. Too many coaches, 11. Have been involved in some kind of like off-field law-breaking kind of situations over the last many years. And do you just get just a total cleanse from that? Maybe they do need that, because just to make everybody else feel better about it. But I'm sure there are guys sitting in that Michigan football office who are, as it appears, to driven snow and don't necessarily deserve to be caught up in it, but they're also going to be caught up in it, because a new coach is going to come in there and clean house in some form or fashion. You absolutely believe that. And now they're getting ready for the bowl game with Biff Poggi, who, by the way, did a good job as an interim head coach back when Sherrone Moore was on suspension for a couple of games earlier this year. So all kinds of drama going on there. I mean, I think you could call the soap opera The Wolverine or something and probably make a lot of money with it. Crazy.
So I got to ask you, because I with the situation, like I have to admit my biases that I do not like Michigan. I never have. I never will. I've joked and I've said it on many shows for many years, Tim, that my children could be the world-class cellists. They could be the most amazing neuroscience doctor in the world. They could be the best volleyball and football player in the world. They can go to any university that they want in this great country except for one, and that is the school up north. They just can't go there. They can go anywhere else. So I have to set my Michigan bias aside and talk about the job, because you would look at this situation and say, listen, it's Michigan. This is not lost on me that they are an extremely powerful program. They're an extremely popular program. They certainly have the money to live in an NIL type of world. And they are, for the most part, an extremely competitive program. But now you factor in, and I'm so glad you brought that up, about the Harbaugh era, which did not end on a good note in any stretch or imagination. Then I think it somehow actually might have gotten worse with the Sherrone Moore situation. And now you're here, where I think about this hire that we hear the big names like, oh, they're going to go try to get Kalen DeBoer out of Alabama. They're going to go try to get Harbaugh's old DC, Jesse Minter, who's in the NFL. Or they're going to go try to get, Clark Lee, or try to go get Kenny Dillingham or Mike Elko. Those were all guys that Joel Klatt brought up on his podcast the other day. But Jed Fish, and I just think so much about that, Tim, of like, if you were one of those top guys, and let's just say it's Mike Elko. I'm just going to bring up Mike Elko, right? He's at Texas A&M. They're in the playoff. He got paid. He's got a program that they're willing to spend on NIL money. It seems like you got things moving there. Like, I guess I asked the question, why should these guys even consider this Michigan job because of all of the turmoil and everything that's going on? Or do you think, nah, man, this is still Michigan. They still have a seat at the table with these big-name coaches?
I remember when Bo Schembechler was being courted by Texas A&M long time ago, and he gave it consideration because he was upset because the Michigan, the administrators were going to do away with this one. I think it was a major that football players, large, I don't know if a majority, but a large number of the football players took advantage of in terms of, not an easy ride. Well, who knows, right? But they were going to do away with it. Sure. And he thought it was going to kind of decimate or make it much more tough to get football players in school. He flirted with the idea of going to Texas A&M before he was assured that major was not going to go away, So it's funny, Texas A&M, Mike Elko sitting there. I mean, why would you leave Texas A&M with, like you just pointed out, with where it is now and walk into what is a mess? I mean, it is a mess at Michigan right now. And you're I don't know why anybody like Kalen DeBoer, everybody keeps talking about Kalen DeBoer like he's going to get up and leave Tuscaloosa, where if he can just put one season together big time, and who knows, it might be this year. They're in the playoff. They shouldn't be. It should be Notre Dame in that spot. But if they put a season together, even a run of the next 4 games, he would be on hallowed ground. He'd be feted just like all those statues of the guys right outside the stadium, including Nick Saban. So you're already at one of the major jobs that everybody covets, right? Why would you leave those Texas A&M, in my opinion, I grew up in East Texas, and I know what Texas A&M could be all about. Mike Elko might finally be that guy that really minds it, but he's being rewarded handsomely, and he's got access to the greatest talent pool, in my opinion, in the nation, which is the state of Texas, of high school football that's played there, et cetera. You can throw Florida in there too, and a little bit in Georgia. But Texas, man, there are players within 300 miles of there, millions of them. So why would you leave that and walk into what is a mess, right? Except, he has ties to Michigan, not necessarily Elko, but Kalen DeBoer, Jed Fish. Mm-hmm. Jed Fish, I could see Jed Fish making that move from Washington. Sure. But the guy that is on my mind and nobody mentions, and I don't care, is Brian Kelly. He cut his teeth in the state of Michigan, becoming a head coach. And look who's the guy, the quarterback, Bryce Underwood. Look where he was committed to before he changed his mind and got a lot of dollars promised to him from Michigan. He was committed to LSU and Brian Kelly. So, there are a lot of reasons why Brian Kelly, and he's available, and he's been a head coach. And he was the head coach at Notre Dame for a long time and got him almost there. So why his name isn't being mentioned more prominently, a lot of people in the media don't like him. So that's one of the reasons.
Well, and I think bringing up Brian Kelly is another thing that I kind of think about with that Michigan situation is you got to have somebody that's going to be able to handle this.
Bingo.
Too. Like, you're right, Tim. Like, former head coach, been through it, and somebody like, I'm not saying Jed Fish couldn't, but like you said, with somebody like Brian Kelly, just to even, I think it's hard because if you're Michigan, you want to almost like find that guy to be your hire for 20 years. Yeah. Listen, coaches staying anywhere at this point, pro or college, for that long, right, is rare. So it's almost like, let's hire somebody. Let's kind of get through this bad era of football.
Correct.
Kind of, like to your point, kind of clean this out, cleanse this out a little bit. And I do think for somebody like Brian Kelly, who you're right is pretty disliked by several, or a lot of people.
He's available.
Like, he is somebody that I could see handling that job really well.
Yeah, he was at Notre Dame.
And getting through it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no bigger fishbowl maybe still in college football than Notre Dame, but Ohio State, Alabama, and those places are pretty close too. But you're right. He would know who. You go out and cleanse and you get the new staff in, you move on, and how long he's there, that doesn't really matter at this point.
Coming up, we have time off for the Buckeyes. We only get one college game today. It's Army, it's Navy. It's going to be awesome. And then next week, we start the first round. Buckeyes with the bye, of course. But that is some time off for Ohio State. We're going to hear from Julian saying on that time off, I want to talk with Tim about what can the Buckeyes really be focusing on, and could it be a negative that they have so much time off? We'll get to it coming up. Fan Sports Saturday. Stay with us.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Don't let credit hold you back. Capital Florida Columbus and Whitehall welcomes all credit types with open arms. Find your dream ride and get approved fast. Call 614-861-7150 or on the web at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
These savings are so good. Right now, get low lease payments on every model, like a new 2026 Elantra SE for just $119 a month for 24 months. Plus, get owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Go now. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus taxes, fees, first month payment, 12 miles per year, ends 1/2/26.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. With online news, social media, and texting available 24/7, the world seems to be spinning faster and faster every day. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we just need to unplug and take a break from our electronic devices. It can help reduce stress and allow us to reflect on the things that are really important in our lives.
This message brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Your credit, your car, our promise. At Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall, we approve all credit types. Perfect, challenged, or none. Drive off today with easy financing. Visit today or online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
Put a new sound on an old song. This season at Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Do you hate holiday pictures because of your teeth?
What if a brand new smile was possible?
No matter what the current state of your mouth.
Welcome to Runyon Dental Group, home of the Implant and Smile Center,
where gorgeous, healthy smiles become a reality.
At Runyon, we've built a team of some of the most highly trained arch and implant doctors in the entire nation. This isn't an ordinary dental practice.
We believe that everyone can have a great smile,
including you, especially you. Your new smile is waiting at Runyon Dental Group.
Make your list, check it twice, and shop smart this holiday season. Open a Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and add some jingle to your wallet with $150 cash back after your first $1,500 spent within 90 days. Apply at Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Offer ends 12/31/25.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A winter weather advisory has been issued here for today as snow is expected to arrive for this afternoon and will continue through this evening. Total snowfall accumulations of 2 to 5 inches are expected through tonight. And then we are talking about colder air settling in after the snow ends. Temperatures drop down to about 9 degrees here for the overnight hours with wind chill factors down near and even below zero. And that colder weather will stick around here for your Sunday with highs in the teens. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
'Tis the holiday season, I guess. So it's like, I don't know, Tim May, Matt Fontana. I don't know if you like eggnog, Tim. I don't need bourbon in my eggnog. I just like regular eggnog. But I do know that there's some people that I know that really like to indulge, if you will, in the holiday season. A lot of good Christmas beers out there, a lot of good Christmas cocktails. So I guess 'tis the season for everybody out there.
You know what? Right? I got to admit something. I have never tasted eggnog. And maybe I'll do that this year. I swear. I'm 71 and I've avoided it so far, but something about it just the name of it doesn't appeal to me. So when things don't appeal to me, I avoid them. I mean, I will try anything once, but I've never ever dipped into an eggnog punch bowl and come up drinking. Let me put it that way. But maybe I'll try it now that you've enticed me.
I'll tell you this. There are different brands, and I don't want to besmirch anybody here on the air, so I will text you off the side. There is a specific brand. I know they have it down in Columbus. You got to get it because it's like milkshake. It's like vanilla milkshake, but there's different kinds because there's some eggnog that's like sour, and I don't like that. I want the sweet. I want the sugar and the sweetness of it. So it's
well, my dad.
You know what? I don't mind saying.
My dad used
Dairy.
Yeah, my dad.
That one.
Oh, okay, I will do that. My dad used to drink buttermilk all the time, And by the way, people don't know. I mean, and I've never had buttermilk because it was lumpy. You know what I mean? I'm going, why would I want something lumpy? But what's funny is the trivia answer is what did the first guy who drank milk in the winner's circle at the Indianapolis 500. That whole tradition got started because he wanted a cold glass of buttermilk. And that's how that whole tradition of milk after a win at the Indianapolis 500 got started. It wasn't just milk, it was buttermilk. So, buttermilk's never appealed to me either. So, maybe I've lived this long because I've avoided both of them.
Yeah. There you go. Maybe avoid it. We'll see. I do like the eggnog. We'll see. Breaking news real quick out of the NFL. The Colts are starting Phillip Rivers on Sunday at 44 years old. He had a week of practice, and he is going to start on Sunday over Riley Leonard, who was injured during the week. Of course, we know Daniel Jones out for the year, Anthony Richardson on IR. So at 44 years old, Tim, with just a couple of practices, Phillip Rivers is going to go out there and frankly try to keep the Colts in the playoff picture because they're kind of floundering at this point, even before Daniel Jones got hurt.
You almost get the feeling Phillip Rivers wanted to get out of the house. Doesn't he have like 48 kids or something? I mean, it's crazy.
He's got a lot of kids. His oldest, I'm going to screw this up, but I think it's his oldest daughter is like the same age as Riley Leonard, who he's replacing at quarterback. Yeah, there you go. I mean, good for him, I guess.
But I mean, this is very interesting, and it's cool, and it's a fun story. But they play for keeps in the NFL. And
That's a good point,
I mean, no one, including himself, no one expects him to be mobile. And, he pretty much put that out there. He's one of the tougher dudes that's ever come along that's played the position, too, as you well know. But you just hope he hadn't bitten off more than he can chew here, man, because you kind of escape the NFL with pretty much your health about you. That can change in a heartbeat.
That's a great point.
So
that's a great point.
But, dude, does it put me in front of the TV to watch the Colts tomorrow in some form or fashion? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, and facing a Seahawks defense that is arguably the best defense in the NFL. They're the number one ranked fantasy defense. They put up points. They take the ball away. It's going to be a lot for Phillip Rivers, but that is official. He is starting on Sunday for the Colts. They've announced that. So at age 44, he's good to go on Sunday and resets his Hall of Fame because he's a semifinalist now.
Exactly.
He takes a snap on Sunday. He's out as a semifinalist. He's got to wait another 5 years to push that on back.
Yeah, you don't want your last game. If it ends up being his last couple of games, you don't want him to take away from your resume, But, but you know what? Here's the thing, though, Matt. You know this. I mean, I remember Obie Stillwell saying, his former Ohio State football player, one time I had him on my show like a long time ago, and but he made this point that football is one of those it's that rare sport where somebody else tells you you're done playing instead of you having the wherewithal to know when to step away, and or you had an injury, meaning a coach, a doctor, or somebody else tells you your career is done. So when you have a chance at a second life in the National Football League, which was what Phillip Rivers is grabbing onto, nothing replaces that competitive aspect of things when you're the quarterback. You don't get to do that anywhere else in life, no matter what kind of corporation you found, no matter what. There's something about being like a starting pitcher and a quarterback that you can't duplicate with anything else. And I can see him jumping back in there just from the intrigue of it. But, you wish him luck and you wish him health.
Absolutely. All right, Julian saying, great interview yesterday on Bishop and Friends. Tim May, Matt Fontana with you here on Fan Sports Saturday. And Tim was on with Bo yesterday when you guys had Julian saying on, and a great question asked to him. How's the time off going to impact the Buckeyes? Because as it stands right now, Tim, the Buckeyes don't know their opponent just yet, but they will not play until the 31st, New Year's Eve, which is 2 weeks away from this upcoming Wednesday. So in essence, we have 2.5 weeks when the Buckeyes have already been off for a whole week. That's plenty of time. That's a lot of time off. So here's Julian saying yesterday on Bishop and Friends talking about the time off for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, we've been, taking a little bit of time to get our bodies healthy, but we're lifting, we're watching film, we're getting ready, we're preparing, we're practicing. So we're getting ready for this matchup, whether it's Miami or Texas A&M.
That was Julian saying yesterday. Full replay, catch it out, YouTube page as well as 971 The Fan. And Tim, I think the loss to Indiana, which we're now exactly a week away from, and I really, you still feel it. Like, I was talking to somebody this week about that being the final game going into this break where you played it tough, things just didn't go your way, but like that motivation for them to take on this basically almost 4 week, really 3.5 week break to be focused on that. And yeah, they needed the recovery. There were a lot of players fighting through injuries and banged up, so that is certainly important, but like that motivation that the team will have coming off that loss to Indiana to kind of fuel them, through this lull of time and practice, because it can get monotonous of just going out to practice and really not knowing who you're playing yet, the focus on which of the two teams. But I just think that's something. I wanted them to win the game, certainly, but trying to take a positive out of it, that's some great motivation for this squad. Yeah, and, it is a conundrum for Ryan Day and his staff of how much do you work, how hard do you work these guys, but we all know this. I mean, last year the 4 teams that got the byes, as I jokingly called them, they ended up being the bye-byes because all 4 teams got beat in the quarterfinals that got the byes, and they, whatever reason, they didn't have that edge. Or they were found out, but mainly they didn't have that edge they had at the end of the season that got them those byes in the first place. So the tricky part here for Ryan Day and staff, and I mean, as we just saw, with Indiana lost one of its really good defensive line players, Stephen Daly, who injured his leg jumping up and down and giving fans high fives after they beat Ohio State. That's a big loss for that team, man. He had that 17-yard sack of Julian saying, if you remember, I think it was in the third quarter. All of a sudden, Ohio State was 3rd and 27 or whatever it was, something stupid. But the point is, you can get hurt anytime, right? And when you practice, you can get hurt anytime. So there's that fine line between practicing hard and having some contact, so you do keep that edge, but not overdoing it, knowing the other team is going to be coming out of a major victory in their program. Texas A&M or Miami in this expanded playoff are going to be coming off a huge win,
going into the Cotton Bowl on the 31st. And so how you keep that edge, you're going to see no matter how you slice it. I think it was Booger McFarland put it the other day. There's that one letter difference between rest and rust, and that's what you have to kind of somehow or another keep the rust from coming on, but get your rest. So that is definitely the exercise that Brian Day and his staff are working on right now, and it'll be interesting to see. But there will be some acclimatization at the beginning of the Cotton Bowl for Ohio State being off this long. That's for sure.
And they do have experience with it, being in the playoffs before and things like that. And I'm not going to buy into last year where there were teams like, the teams that had the byes were 0-4. That's because the seeding was wrong, and they fixed that this year because you had teams that didn't deserve to have a bye getting a bye, and you had better teams. But I do think as they fixed it and wanted to do, I think the best teams got the bye. So I think this will be another great kind of experiment to see how that goes.
Well, Oregon,
the college football playoff as they're ever evolving.
Oregon had that bye, and they were playing a team that had 2 losses, one of them to Oregon, and Ohio State waxed them in the Rose Bowl, coming off that win over Tennessee. But you're right. I know we're up against the time here again, but Ryan Day understands the gravity of this situation in terms of trying to stay sharp, keep that edge, but also have his team fresh when it shows up.
Absolutely. Well, one of those guys going to be fresh, Julian Sayin, and I think about legacy when it comes to him because he's got an opportunity tonight, with the Heisman. He's got a team that is favored by many to win a national championship, and legacy at Ohio State, as we know, is so very important. I can't wait to discuss this question with Tim. Maybe we'll throw it out on Twitter, 97.1 The Fan. What is more important to a legacy at Ohio State as a quarterback? Winning a Heisman or winning a national championship? We'll get to all that in just 2 minutes right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony, and it's Happy Honda Days at your main Honda of Dublin. What am I going to give you? How about rates as low as 0%? You want no payments for 90 days? You got it. Do you have a trade-in? I'll make sure Rich gives you an extra $1,000 for your trade. Yep, an extra $1,000. Or I'll slide you right into a brand new Honda with leases starting from only $239 a month. Happy Honda Days right now at your main Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at yourmainhondaofdublin.com.
Are you tired of paying retail prices? Then you've got to check out ColumbusAuctions.com, the online auction with pickup right here in Columbus, specializing in overstock products. Bidding starts at just $5. That's right, for only $5, you could score something that retails for $100. Most items come from places like Amazon, Lowe's, and Walmart, and if the listing is wrong or the item's broken, they'll give you a full refund. Plus, ColumbusAuctions.com offers a 14-day pickup. If you love deals on just about anything, try the new way to shop in Columbus at ColumbusAuctions.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, how is a regular water heater different from a tankless water heater?
A regular water heater keeps a tank of water hot and ready for you to use when you need it.
Get Eco.
ECO. And a tankless water heater?
A tankless water heater instantly heats the water for you whenever you need it, so you never run out of hot water.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's what makes regular water heaters and tankless water heaters different.
But they're also both alike.
Yes, they are.
They both heat water.
Get Eco.
ECO.
But there's another way they are like.
What's that?
They both need to be flushed out once a year if you want to avoid big problems.
Well, I have a solution.
Really?
EcoFi Advantage. Flushing out your water heaters is just one of the long list of things they do for you every year for just $28 a month.
Get Eco.
ECO. EcoFi Advantage.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Big day tonight as we'll be finding out who the next Heisman candidate or winner of their candidates, the winner will be. And Tim, we'll see who's going to join all those commercials for Nissan with Baker Mayfield and Devontae Smith. And, we'll see. And it might not be Julian Sayin tonight, but still there's a legacy to be had with Julian Sayin. He's Tim May. I'm Matt Fontana. We got you here for Fan Sports Saturday. And I was thinking, even if it's not tonight, which I think it'll be Fernando Mendoza who takes home the Heisman, Julian Sayin's going to have a really good look at it next year. And he's also got a great opportunity this year to go win a national championship as a starting quarterback. And I was thinking, Tim, what do you think matters more in the legacy of an Ohio State quarterback, a national championship or a Heisman, because it's not been too many crossovers that we've had. Like Troy Smith won the Heisman, but he did not win a national championship. We obviously know Will Howard won a national championship, did not win the Heisman. So, I mean, there's been back and forth on there's not been too many that have done both. So, like, I just open up to you, Craig Krenzel, national championship, not a Heisman Trophy winner. What do you think matters more in the legacy for an Ohio State quarterback?
I think it's being the starting quarterback on a national championship team, because you were a major reason why that team won that. Rex Kern comes to mind, 1968. You know, he and Archie Griffin had a good joke going one time. Archie Griffin once told him, you know, I would trade you. I'll trade you one of my Heismans for your national championship ring, you know, because Archie, they never lost to Michigan. They did tie him once, but never lost to Michigan in his 4 years there, and he won 2 Heismans and was in the running for that other one, as we talked about earlier in the show, 1973, with 2 of his teammates. But the bottom line is he never won a national championship, and they came oh so close. It was ridiculous. And, of course, if there had been a playoff back then, there's a good chance those Woody Hayes teams might have won 2 or 3 national championships during that run, if in buts, right? But the bottom line is, I think a national championship just, you know, you don't have big time reunions for the team that produced the Heisman Trophy winner, right? 1995, Eddie George won the Heisman. That team was so ridiculously talented, stem to stern. If there had been a playoff then, 14 playoff, they would definitely been in it. But, of course, there wasn't even the BCS then. And they lost to Michigan and then got beaten in the bowl game, the Citrus Bowl, by, Tennessee and a young Peyton Manning. But the bottom line is, you know, those kind of teams don't have the reunions that the national championship teams do. So I think if you really pinned them down, it's really good for your ego and your personal promotion to win a Heisman. But being part of a national championship team, man, that is so rare. I think most quarterbacks would give whatever it takes to be a national championship quarterback. Craig Krenzel, one of the toughest, coolest, clutchest players I ever saw play the position at Ohio State. Did he throw the ball like Julian's saying? No. Did he get the opportunity? Not really. You know, but one of the clutchest players you ever saw, and toughest. Go back and watch that Citrus Bowl. That Fiesta Bowl. That's all you need to see. Rex Kern got hurt off and on, but Rex Kern was a tough customer, and there was no doubt he was a leader on that football team as a super soph in 1968. And so, you know, I don't think they would trade at all what they've got for what those other guys have. But it's still pretty cool to have the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I grew up in an era of watching. Like, I remember the 02 national championship game, and I'm watching all the players, and you knew every guy in the starting lineup. And I really fell in love with the Buckeyes with the Troy Smith era, the Ted Gins, those kind of guys. So, like, I always have a soft spot for Troy because, you know, I'm from Cleveland. He's from the area. And, like, that's where I have him up there on my list of the greatest Ohio State quarterbacks, because he did win the Heisman and obviously had a look at a national championship more than once.
Hey, and what happened?
He should have won one of those.
And what happened that year? They win the game of the century against Michigan. The game of the century, as it was labeled. And in 2006, 42-39, Woody and the recently passed away Bo Schembechler, who passed away the day before, are up in heaven, football heaven. You think just going crazy on the offense that's being played. Like, what are they doing? And then they go and they have more than a month off before they play the national championship game against Florida, which played in the SEC championship game that year. And they got waxed by Florida. What was it, 41-14 or whatever the score was. The bottom line was, that's a great example of what we were talking about in the previous segment about the layoff, how you got to handle it. But there's no doubt, Troy Smith, I use this term about Troy Smith the same as I use Julian saying, Troy Smith threw a Hollywood movie type pass, meaning snaps, just a snap spiral, big time. He looked the part, the way he moved around, the daring do he had about himself, without a doubt. But man, would he like to have that national championship? I'm telling you.
I bet. And then, Cardale Jones, who led them to, I would say, the improbable national championship, but everything with JT Barrett getting injured.
He's going to make money on that. He's going to make money. Cardale's going to make money on that till he dies.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just that's I guess the thing where I'm not going to lie to him. I was leaning towards the Heisman cementing that legacy because you join just such exclusive club because it's an individual thing. But now I'm starting to think more about the national championship, right?
Well,
and just like what that brings to Ohio State.
I think you just mentioned the test case. Yeah, JT doesn't have the Heisman, but he set every record known to man at Ohio State.
It's incredible. Yeah.
And yet people will talk about Cardale Jones over him till the end of time.
That's exactly.
Absolutely. JT Barrett was a consummate college quarterback. Consummate. But then here's the way you got to look at it. What were we discussing right off the jump here in the show today was the vagaries, VAGARIES of the Heisman vote, right? And it comes down to what did you do for me lately with a lot of people who vote on it, but then they kind of look at the season, but then they have in your mind, like I did, I had my candidates in mind, and how did they finish out? Did they finish, right? And that's why all of a sudden Mendoza is definitely the favorite going into tonight because of the way he finished. And, of course, he also is one of the more well-spoken college athletes of all time. That doesn't hurt him, believe me. On the campaign trail, he would make votes by not playing and just talking. But so you can go out and you can win a national championship, but you can't guarantee yourself you're going to win a Heisman. It still comes down to a vote, a popularity contest.
And that is a lot of, we talk about just you brought it up earlier when we were talking about the Heisman. I thought it was so right on. It's a little like the MVP in other sports, right? Is that the best player or is it the guy that means the most to his team? Like in essence of the most valuable player, right? Like the Heisman is kind of that. Is this the guy that means the most to their team or is he the best player in college football? Like I do believe the Heisman is truly meant to be like the best player in college football. It always is going to lean quarterbacks. Like I think it's hard to, even get a defensive player that kind of gets up there and gets it done. So it's kind of blurred the lines over to MVP. But you then think about leading a national championship team. And I don't mean this with any disrespect to even like just more specifically Will Howard, or again, just looking at that 2015 Ohio State roster. Like this is no shot at Cardale Jones. He was not the best player on that team, right? No. You had Joey Bosa, you had Zeke Elliott, you had so many amazing players on that team. Tyvis Powell, defensive MVP of that game, by the way, our guy Tyvis. It's like that kind of is where it goes different between like the Heisman being the best player versus like leading a team in the national championship. Where I think it is different if they win it this year, Tim. Like I think Julian Sayin is one of the best players on the Ohio State Buckeyes this year.
Oh, absolutely, dude, he's right there. In my mind, I've been covering this team for 42 years. He's right there in the conversation, but he's still got to have another season or two to really prove it. He's right there in the conversation with as good a quarterback as we've ever seen play at Ohio State. I mean, Corny Green was a tremendous player, right? But they took him out in that 73 game when they wanted to throw the ball, even though he could have thrown it, took him out in the 10-10 tie, for example. The point is, you have to have the opportunity, and then you have to deliver. And the thing about that's why you see more often than not the quarterback now being featured from the best team in college football more often than not. That doesn't mean, last year was not the case, Travis Hunter, because he never left the field for the most part. You got to give it up to a guy like that. But what did his team do, right? As good as he was, how are we to judge whether he is the absolute best player in college football? When the team was like so-so. Ashton Genty, I voted for him because I thought he elevated his team, and they got into the college football playoff. So right on down the line, there are all kinds of factors that come into play. You may not be the best player in college football because how do you judge that with 131 teams? But you might be the best player on your team, which goes on to big time accomplishments. So I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The players that win the Heisman that don't get the national championship, a lot of them that would sit there and say, I'd really rather have that. I think it's kind of the same thing in the NFL. You talk to players that never got a chance to go to a Super Bowl or even go to a playoff game and say, I'd give up an All-Pro. I'd give up whatever accolades I got because it meant so much to be there. So we got a little time for the Buckeyes. We'll get there eventually, though, as we roll on. We'll turn back our attention to the pro side of things. For the Browns, who play tomorrow with a list of injuries of guys being out, weather's supposed to be bad. Does that then make it hard for an evaluation of Shedeur Sanders or not? We'll get to that with Tim May, Matt Fontana, Fan Sports Saturday with you.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Credit challenges? We got solutions. At Capital Florida, Columbus, and Whitehall, all credit types are welcome. Good, fair, poor, or none. Get approved fast and cruise away happy. Stop in or visit us online at capitalfloridacolumbus.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. The holidays are here, and if you've got a collector in your life, you have to check out Midwest Cards. Thousands of packs and boxes from Pokemon to every sport you can name. It's a full-on collector's dream. Plus, they have signed jerseys and memorabilia that'll make any fan go crazy. The variety is awesome, and the selection legendary. So swing by Midwest Cards today, grab an epic gift or even a gift card, and watch your favorite collector's face light up this holiday season. Get to Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you.
It's the year-end sales event with the Ford crew.
It's sales event time, Sam.
Temperatures are dropping, but the deals are just getting hot.
Time for our annual Ford Holiday Gift Guide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to go wrong with great deals on trucks and SUVs from Ford, America's all-time best-selling auto brand.
Don't forget the first rule of holiday gift giving, Hank.
What's that, Sam?
Always remember to treat yourself, too.
Well said.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Save big money on new appliances when you shop at Menards. We have an excellent in-stock appliance selection. We carry great brands at the best prices. Ready to take home today. Save big on a Whirlpool top-load washer or electric dryer. Right now, get them on sale for just $6.28 each. Good through December 14th. View our entire selection of appliances on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for great deals happening this week.
The Ohio Lottery's Powerball jackpot has soared to at least $1 billion. That's right, over $1 billion is up for grabs. It's the 7th largest Powerball jackpot in history. So don't wait. Pick up your ticket before 10 o'clock tonight. 'Tis the season for holiday scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Because with lots of ways to win, 6 great games, and millions in prizes, scratch-offs can turn any day into a holiday. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
All credit types are welcome at Capital Florida, Columbus, and Whitehall. From perfect scores to starting fresh, we'll get you driving. Shop our huge selection and leave in your new car today. Stop in or visit us online at capitalfloridacolumbus.com.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now get a sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal, complete with hash browns and a small coffee for just $5. Only at McDonald's for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Single item at regular price excludes tax.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
These savings are so good. Right now, get low lease payments on every model, like a new 2026 Elantra SE for just $119 a month for 24 months. Plus, get owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Go now. Columbus or Dublin or glexhyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus taxes, fees, first month payment, 12 miles per year, ends 1/2/26.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
'Tis the season for making memories. Give the gift of more time together at Dick's House of Sport and join us for family fun events all season long. Plus, climb a rock wall, test the multi-sport cage, and perfect your swing in a golf simulator. And shop the widest selection of the hottest brands like Nike, FP Movement, Adidas, Carhartt, UGG, and Stanley. Unforgettable moments start here at Dick's House of Sport. Visit dicks.com/House of Sport to see what's happening this season.
T-Bone's an expert at making mornings better. He brought back the bagel sandwiches at McDonald's. He feeds birds out of his mouth. And he hosts a radio show guaranteed to make you smile. Yay, T-Bone. Yes. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Browns taking on the Bears tomorrow. It's supposed to be windy, cold, chilly, all of it. Can you still get that evaluation for Shedeur Sanders, even missing some big pieces on offense and defense? Fan Sports Saturday here on The Fan. I'm Matt Fontana. He is Tim May. Tim, my son, had his basketball game today. I did not tailgate and pregame for my 4-year-old's basketball game this morning, but I don't know if I could say the same about some of the other parents there. It kind of is what it is over at the YMCA, but it was a good time this morning.
You got to draw the line somewhere, man. I mean, if you're if your beer's actually going to freeze before you can drink it, I mean, that's a good sign. I don't think beer freezes though, does it? Doesn't it have enough? Doesn't it have enough antifreeze to keep that from happening? I think it does.
The only thing I remember the playoff game for the Vikings when their new stadium was being built and they had to play at Minnesota's, the Golden Gophers, and they had a playoff game and they said it was like negative whatever, and there were guys that were taking their beer and holding it up to chug it, and by the time it was hitting their mouth, it was like slush.
Yes.
It wasn't frozen, but it was pretty bad. Those are some pretty brutal conditions.
Yeah, those are some pretty brutal fans too. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is true. It is true. Only one football game for today, though. It's Army-Navy, and I'm sure there will be a lot pre-gaming for that as we go. Browns are in action tomorrow, Tim. I mean, for the Browns, I'm up here in Cleveland, so a lot of the conversation has just been driven, by Shedeur Sanders, and it's been a season to forget for the Browns. It's been really tough. They've not won a lot of games. They're facing a really good Bears team tomorrow that a lot of people are trying to point to, the weather and saying that might be an equalizer for the Browns to try to keep it close against Caleb Williams. And I'm like, okay, I can listen to that. But then I scroll down and I look at the Browns injury report where they're going to be without David Njoku, their starting tight end. They're going to be without Jack Conklin. He's out again on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. Dylan Sampson, their backup running back, who's gotten a lot of touches, he's out. Their other running back, Jerome Ford, is on IR. So it's basically just Quinshon Judkins, the only healthy one. Denzel Ward is out. We know Wyatt Teller on the offensive line has been out. And I think about that evaluation of Shedeur Sanders where every game I'm going to make an evaluation. Every game that I watch Shedeur Sanders play, I'm going to take the good, and inevitably there's going to be bad. He's a rookie quarterback. I'm going to take it out. But I look at this game tomorrow where the elements are supposed to be bad and they're going to be down a lot of players, and I really look at it as a great opportunity for Shedeur to say, hey, man, all these chips are stacked against you. You've got all of these things that could be excuses. Go out there and play well. Go out there and maybe even try to win this game or keep it close. That's kind of the opportunity that I look at for a young quarterback tomorrow.
I'm a fan of these YouTube videos where the guys like Outdoor Boys and some others where they go out in the middle of Alaska, for example, and dig a hole in the snow and pile it up, and and they're eating berries and stuff. But the point is, what sets them apart is they all know how to build a fire, in those conditions. Right. And that's what Shedeur's got to do tomorrow. I don't mean to be so glib in an analogy. He's got to figure out how to build a fire with what he's got on hand, right? And it's going, as the old saying goes, it is the same for both teams. With Dylan Sampson, I just remember him trying to play in the cold in Ohio Stadium last December. That didn't work out so well for him playing for Tennessee, right? And you've got Fann in there at tight end, who I think is one of the, coming from Bowling Green, who's blossomed, big time blossomed. And, Njoku has always been on the field, off the field, on the field, off the field. It seems like forever since he's been a Brown. So you just, okay, that could happen in the middle of a game. So you have Fannin. Quinshon Judkins was a major factor in that Ohio State win over Tennessee last year in the frigid conditions. He's going to have Luke Whippler snapping to him, a former Buckeye, with what Posick is hurt. So out for the year. Is he out for the year? I think he is. But
he tore his Achilles, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got Luke Whippler. He's used to cold weather. Here's the thing: nobody ever gets really used to cold weather. I mean, that's kind of just because you have a team that plays in the north doesn't mean you like playing in it any more than the team coming from the south. You may have some tricks of the trade that they have to learn as the game goes on to stay warm, et cetera. But, obviously Cleveland, Chicago, that's a push when it comes to weather, right? So, yes, I would think Shedeur, this is a good moment for him to step out and go, hey, no matter what you throw at me, Chicago Bears and Mother Nature, I can handle it. I will stay within myself. I won't throw stupid passes. I will try to keep this team moving. If I can't, we will punt, as the old saying goes. End every possession with a punt, with a kick, either a punt, field goal, or an extra point. And so that's the attitude, the simplistic attitude you have to take in a game like this.
It's funny. You mentioned the cold. Like I had a coach say back in the day, he goes, we can practice it all you want. It's still going to be cold.
Correct.
It doesn't really matter. It's still going to be cold.
I'm watching that Montana State Stephen F. Austin game last night, FCS quarterfinal. By the way, there's 3 more of those games coming on today.
What's coming up at noon?
I love watching that football. But you see Stephen F. Austin was from Nacogdoches, Texas, which is 20 miles from where I grew up, north of where I grew up in Lufkin. But they clearly weren't used to 6-degree temperatures. They played competitively. They finally got a little warmth going and stepped back into the game. But clearly the cold kind of caught them out early. But they were coming from deep East Texas to I was going to say a bad word there. Montana. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going where to play who for what? But it's cold for everybody. But it's funny how Josh Allen though seems to be what I saw some stat the other day. Maybe my wife.
The temperature, right? Like
my wife was telling me that. Yeah, but how many Super Bowls have they won so far with him? Zip. Go ahead.
That's true. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's all of that's got to be factored in. And the final thing on the Bears and the Browns, because I was talking about this week too, isn't it sad that this will probably be the last game played outdoors between these two teams because both teams are building domes? And by the time they play each other again, they should at least have one of those 2 domes finished. The Browns are a little further ahead than where the Bears are at, but that doesn't seem right. I know the whole debate about football inside or outside. That doesn't sit right with me.
When is that dome? When is that dome going to be done in Cleveland? Well, not Cleveland anymore, but right outside Cleveland. I mean, by Hopkins Airport, right?
Yeah, right by the airport, Brook Park. They and actually there was just some moves this week because the Haslam's bought it, but then they transferred the title or transferred the land to the city of Brook Park, so they get the tax incentives, blah blah blah. So the last season downtown is going to be 2028. The new dome has got to be done.
So it's a while.
The 2029 season.
Yeah, it's a while.
It is, but it's funny you say that, Tim. It's a while, but there's still people that are like, they got to move. Like they're even a little behind the 8 ball, starting it a little later than they thought.
Correct.
Just the sheer amount of work that they got to get
done. They should have built the dome. Should have built it in the first place where it is. I'm telling you. Because here's the thing. You know why they're doing it, man. I don't want to get harp on this, but you can have so many more events. You can be obviously you'll get, if they build that dome, if they get it done, they will get a Super Bowl. You got to figure, right? The way the NFL does things. They will get 1 Super Bowl just to appease them. But there's so many other things you can do, Final Fours, regional. I mean, if NCAA regionals right on down the line that demand domes now. And I think it would have made sense 20 years ago whenever they built the 25 years ago, whenever they built that stadium in place of where the old stadium was. I'm telling you, I covered the Browns and Bengals from 79, I think, through 83 for the Columbus Dispatch before I started covering Ohio State football. I did not like Municipal Stadium, a.k.a. the mistake on the lake. That was Brian Sipes' mistake on the lake. But I did not like that place. I just think it was tough for both teams, but even the fans, yeah, you can have some guys out there with shirts off and all that stuff, but that doesn't add anything to the game to me. Just like with this Ohio State football team, you would much rather see them play in pristine conditions than in conditions that take away maybe a third of your offense. I mean, that's no fun to me. So that's why I like domes, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I think because the dome favors the better team, right? The elements
Correct.
favor the underdog, and that's where, like, the Browns going to the Bears tomorrow, like Benjamin Solak's out, like, don't be surprised if the Browns win that game. It's like, yeah, because they're the underdog, and they really need the elements to try to even some things out for some of the teams so we'll have to see.
Do you remember the Chicago Bears Philadelphia playoff game way back when, where the fog rolled in? I mean,
oh yeah, I've seen the clips of it. Yeah.
That was like
anything, and it's just
that was like the NFL's version of the Snow Bowl. That was more like a snow globe. But I mean, it's kind of cool to look back on and go, that was cool. But you know what? It wasn't much of a football game.
No, not really. All right, speaking of the pros, I thought this was interesting. They graded all 32 first-round picks from a year ago. I want to focus on some of the Buckeyes. Emeka Egbuka, they did, Josh Simmons, who unfortunately has had a little bit of a rough go of the season. Mm-hmm. But I want to run through some of the Buckeyes after their rookie seasons, starting to wrap up here in a couple of weeks. What grade would you give to some of the Buckeyes after their first year in the pros? We'll jump on that. We got it next. Fan Sports Saturday. Stay with us.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
'Tis the season to not feel groggy. I know that's not how the song goes, but it's how the rush of the holidays can make us feel. Eric Reeser here and my friends at Hydrate Me Med Spa have the goods to keep you looking and feeling your best as the year comes to an end. 4 convenient locations in Central Ohio offering medical-grade IV and aesthetic treatments. If you're like me and get a little queasy at the thought of an IV, not a big needle person, I get it. But their staff of incredible certified nurse practitioners makes the process easy. Get your body ready for a successful holiday season by booking your drip today at hydratememedspa.com.
Hey, it's Anthony, and it's Happy Honda Days at your main Honda of Dublin. What am I going to give you? How about rates as low as 0%? You want no payments for 90 days? You got it. Do you have a trade-in? I'll make sure Rich gives you an extra $1,000 for your trade. Yep, an extra $1,000. Or I'll slide you right into a brand new Honda with leases starting from only $239 a month. Happy Honda Days right now at your main Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at yourmainhondaofdublin.com.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at United Dairy Farmers. Registered U-drivers who buy specially marked products like hot breakfast sandwiches, fresh apple fritters, iced coffee, Coke, and Pepsi can play to win prizes instantly, like freebies, $1,000 each week, and the $15,000 grand prize. Because at UDF is made for you. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
Ugh, gross. Can I come over to your house one time and you not have your husband prancing around in its tidy whities?
Well, I can't do laundry because our septic line is clogged.
Call Dormar. They do same-day plumbing repair.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
Grow your savings with certainty and jingle all the way into 2027 with a 16-month certificate from Kemba Financial Credit Union, earning you up to 4.50 annual percentage yield. Strong returns plus local people equals peace of mind and the best place to save in Central Ohio. Visit Kemba.org. $500 minimum deposit required to open and earn stated APY. $250,000 maximum deposit. Restrictions apply. Advantage status required. Insured by NCUA. Expires 12/31/25.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
At Giant Eagle, we're here for the holidays because it's time to break out the family recipes. Because your get-togethers bring everyone together. Giant Eagle is helping bring the holiday magic home because it matters.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
I'm Nate Butterball with your sports update. Tonight in New York City, it's the finale of awards season as the Heisman ceremony goes down Ohio State quarterback Julian Saint is one of 4 finalists, alongside Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia, and Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame. Last night, Caleb Downs took home the Jim Thorpe Award for the nation's best defensive back. Jeremiah Smith missed out on the Biletnikoff, going to USC's Mekhi Lemon. Downs, Smith, Caden McDonald, and Arvell Reese were named first-team All-Americans, with Julian Saint and Caden Curry named to the second team. OSU was the only school with 4 first-team selections. Fernando Mendoza took home the Davey O'Brien Award for Best Quarterback and the Walter Camp Award for the nation's best player. Later this afternoon, it's the annual Army-Navy game. Kickoff is just after 3 o'clock, and the Blue Jackets look to snap their 4-game skid tonight as they return to Nationwide Arena to take on Las Vegas. Puck drops at 7. Catch the action right here on The Fan. Breaking sports news when it happens to The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Buckeyes in the NFL, nothing new. How did they grade out for some of the young guys? NFL.com ran through grades for all 32 first-round picks of last year's draft. Some Buckeyes in there. We'll get some other big ones. He's Tim May. I'm Matt Fontana here on Fan Sports Saturday. So before we get to the Buckeyes, Tim, some of the big ones, and this was ran through on NFL.com by Bucky Brooks. He does a lot of their draft stuff, NFL analysts, things like that. So just up top, the top 5 picks. He gave Cam Ward a B-. He gave Travis Hunter a C, Abdul Carter a D, Will Campbell an A, and then a B+ for Mason Graham up here in Cleveland for the Browns. And I bring that up because, like, frankly, I think a B- for Cam Ward is that's what I'm looking for. Like,
teacher's
I think
pet?
That's generous. That's what I'm trying to. Teacher's pet. Like, that's generous.
Yeah.
For a B-. Travis Hunter got hurt, so he's got to see. Abdul Carter has been a mess there with the Giants. Will Campbell's been very good, and I think Mason Graham could be like a B or an A. But I bring it up because everybody's clamoring for that next quarterback in this draft, and the Jets or the Browns trade up to go get that. But just looking at it, there are no guarantees at the top of that draft.
No. I think Mason Graham's played well. I mean, I think for a rookie in the middle of that defense and stuff, what he has brought to the fore reminded me of the you knew he was going to be pretty good based on just watching him play in the Ohio State game last year and the way he took it over from defensive tackle. I mean, he had 7 tackles in that game. Like I said, that was the most glaring stat from that game, was Mason Graham being in on 7 tackles. I even wrote about that afterwards. And because he willed himself that they were going to win that game, even though, from a talent level standpoint, it was pretty stark between Ohio State and Michigan, in my opinion, in that game. But the way he played really elevated that whole defense. And I'm spending too much time on Mason Graham, I know, but I was impressed by him. Let me put it that way, and I thought he could do what he's doing now. And I think the Browns might give him an A- at least, just on what he's been able to do. I don't know what you think.
No, I agree with you 100% because the stats, like, he only has like a half a sack or whatever, but you watch what Myles Garrett is doing where he's about to break the NFL single-season sack record. And Myles in his own right is an amazing player, but, like, he's gotten help by having Mason Graham.
Correct.
Like, I've seen Mason Graham in the run game make some plays. So, like, that's where, again, I would have leaned towards maybe more of an A, but we'll see. To the Ohio State side of things, so first up, 19th overall, Emeka Egbuka to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Brooks gave him a B+, and he says he had a recent that's because, like, the decline in production and the drops. I don't agree with it. Yeah, hit it, Nate. I don't like it because I think it's an A, and especially when you remember he was the 19th pick. Ted McMillan went ahead of him as the number 1 wide receiver, and Ted McMillan's having a really good year, especially later, in the season. And then Emeka, I mean, if you take Travis Hunter out of it being a 2-way player, I guess Ted was the second receiver taken. So, like, 3rd for Emeka, but I don't know about a B+, because I know Tampa's kind of faltering right now. I don't think that's necessarily his fault, but I think he's been an absolute steal down there for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, he had that one notable drop. Or I don't know if drop's the right word. He never really got in position to really catch that ball. Like, what was that, a couple of weeks ago? That could have been a winning touchdown. But other than that, I mean, I think when you get that kind of production out of a rookie wide receiver, I mean, even they have to find their sea legs, so to speak. And when you move to the NFL, I think I don't know. This guy's grading on a not a curve. I'm not sure. It's got a couple of right-hand turns in it, the way I look at it. But I would give him an A from what he has brought from the get-go for Tampa Bay. And you know what? He's proven to Baker Mayfield for the most part. He'll catch the ball if you throw it to him, right? And once you get that quarterback's once you get that quarterback's confidence, you can go places. And he clearly has that.
Next up, Donovan Jackson, who went 24th to the Vikings, and he gave him a B-. What I mean, Jackson is starting. He's a part of that offense that's just been up and down because of J.J. McCarthy. And Brooks writes, first-year starters suffered through a bumpy start before emerging as a solid guard on that revamped offensive line. And the Vikings' record's not great, but Jackson is an essential building block on that line of scrimmage. So again, I think B- is maybe a little low for Donovan because I know he's been a day one starter, and shockingly, wow, a rookie needs a little acclimation to get to the NFL. But I think he's been playing much better recently.
Yeah, and you never know what's going on an offensive line from play to play and stuff that sometimes puts a guy in jeopardy from the standpoint of being graded, that maybe it was a call down there that wasn't quite right. I mean, I know I'm making excuses for Donovan. I really like Donovan. I think I told Donovan to his face one time, barring injury, I think you could be in the league for 15 years because he's built like that, both mentally and physically. And so, yeah, I think I would give him at least a B. Let's put it that way, because he did have some growing pains. And, when you're in a class and it's a full semester, all that comes into the average, right? But I think lately he's playing extremely well. So, but B would probably be what you'd give him right now with still some more tests to take.
Tyleik Williams, 28, defensive lineman, of course, went to the Lions. Again, a B- here, and I think it's hard because they just have such a stacked defensive line. He's not had to play a ton of snaps, but when he's been in there, I've seen him make a lot of plays. Brooks write-up, it says, Dan Campbell and company look towards the future. They do have a talented defensive line rotation that limits his snaps, but a lot of excitement about Tyleik Williams up there with the Lions as well.
Should be. The guy has a great first step. I mean, boy, when you get a defensive tackle with size and a great first step, you got something going for you, and it'll be down the road maybe. Who knows? It may be, in the playoffs. I'm trying to remember. Didn't he get banged up too, though, in the middle of the season? I'm trying to remember. But the bottom line, yeah, you can see the potential. Let's put it that way. He's one of those. He's in your class, and maybe you're giving him a B or B- right now, but he has the potential to get into that high B, low A category.
Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned about Tyleik Williams. That was one that I just kept my eye on late in the year because he had it was the hamstring with the pro day, but then he missed games. Oh, the ankle. That's right. He hurt the ankle against Penn State. And then it was just kind of fighting through that because he was just such an important piece for the Buckeyes. Final thing, NFL.com grading all the 32 first-round picks from a year ago. So we've run through all the Buckeyes except the one who did go 32nd. And that was Josh Simmons, who went to Kansas City. And Bucky gave him a B, which I appreciated here because it's been just an unfortunate year for Josh, where he had a missed time. Again, missed all of last season at Ohio State, still becomes a first-round pick, and then had to miss time due to a personal issue, and then came back and suffered a wrist injury that unfortunately landed him on IR. Mm-hmm. But as Bucky writes, for the games that we saw, he looks like he has the chance to be a future stalwart on that offensive line for the Chiefs.
Matt, he got hurt at Oregon last year, sixth game of the year. Was lost for the season, right? And he's coming back from a knee injury this year, and the way he started the year out, I mean, wow. Now you know why people were projecting him a year ago more than a year ago as a first-round draft pick. And just think about the Buckeyes, man. Donovan Jackson moved out to left tackle, finally. When everything settled, for example. And then they lost their Seth McLaughlin, their center and stuff. But my point about Josh Simmons is we didn't really get to see him at his best at Ohio State for an extended period, and they still won a national championship. That was crazy when you think about it. But with him personally, I don't know what his personal issue was in the middle of the year. It's unfortunate, whatever it is, and then to come back to get injured. But yeah, you could see him first part of the year, man. The potential that this guy has to be in the league for a long time if he can keep his wits about him.
Next up, we'll go back to the pro side of things. I want to go around the NFL. We got the news this morning. Phillip Rivers is going to be starting for the Colts. A very interesting injury and an unfortunate injury for TJ Watt as we get geared up tomorrow for another week of NFL football. Playoff implications left and right. We'll get to all of it. Fan Sports Saturday. Tim May, Matt Fontana with you.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Everyone deserves a great car, regardless of credit. At Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall, we say yes to all credit types. Explore our selection, get financed in minutes, and own the road. Stop in today or visit us online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
'Tis the season to not feel groggy. I know that's not how the song goes, but it's how the rush of the holidays can make us feel. Eric Reeser here and my friends at Hydrate Me Med Spa have the goods to keep you looking and feeling your best as the year comes to an end. 4 convenient locations in Central Ohio offering medical-grade IV and aesthetic treatments. If you're like me and get a little queasy at the thought of an IV, not a big needle person, I get it. But their staff of incredible certified nurse practitioners makes the process easy. Get your body ready for a successful holiday season by booking your drip today at hydratememedspa.com.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now get a sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal, complete with hash browns and a small coffee for just $5. Only at McDonald's for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Single item at regular price excludes tax.
Do you hate holiday pictures because of your teeth?
What if a brand new smile was possible?
No matter what the current state of your mouth.
Welcome to Runyon Dental Group, home of the Implant and Smile Center,
where gorgeous, healthy smiles become a reality.
At Runyon, we've built a team of some of the most highly trained arch and implant doctors in the entire nation. This isn't an ordinary dental practice.
We believe that everyone can have a great smile,
including you, especially you. Your new smile is waiting at Runyon Dental Group.
Bobcat Enterprises says thank you for your support as they celebrate 50 years of serving the construction industry. Established in 1975 in Cincinnati, Bobcat Enterprises has expanded to 9 stores to meet you where you are in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Find equipment for any construction project, including compact track loaders and excavators. Plus, Bobcat Enterprises rents compact equipment and attachments. Find current specials and locations at bobcatent.com or follow Bobcat Enterprises Inc. on Facebook. Bobcat Enterprises, 50 years working for you.
Your credit doesn't define your ride. Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall approves all credit types, good, bad, or rebuilding. Get behind the wheel today. Call 614-861-7150 or apply online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
Shopping this time of year can be stressful, but when you've got a guy, everything gets a little easier. Meet my guy, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
Hey, common man.
Hitting anyone's car today, Bob?
Not yet.
If you're popping the question this holiday season, you'd be an absolute fool not to see Bob at Worthington Jewelers. The store is crowded all the time. Why? Because they give you the best price and service possible, and then people keep coming back.
I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. If you're looking for the perfect holiday pour, look no further. We teamed up with our friends at High Bank Distillery Co. for 2 exclusive barrel picks this December, both handpicked by me. These are single barrels, so once they're gone, they're gone. High Bank the Fan also partnered with the Ronald McDonald House on this pick to give back to families with children who are sick around the world. So find a bottle near you at ohlq.com. Learn more at highbankdistillery.com. Drink the best, forget the rest this holiday season. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. The holidays are here, and if you've got a collector in your life, you have to check out Midwest Cards. Thousands of packs and boxes from Pokemon to every sport you can name. It's a full-on collector's
dream. Plus, they have signed jerseys and memorabilia that'll make any fan go crazy. The variety is awesome, and the selection legendary. So swing by Midwest Cards today, grab an epic gift or even a gift card, and watch your favorite collector's face light up this holiday season. Get to Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
These savings are so good. Right now, get low lease payments on every model, like a new 2026 Elantra SE for just $119 a month for 24 months. Plus, get owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Go now. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus taxes, fees, first month payment. 12 miles per year. Ends 1/2/26.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility.
The Fan.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A winter weather advisory has been issued here for today, as snow is expected to arrive for this afternoon and will continue through this evening. Total snowfall accumulations of 2 to 5 inches are expected through tonight. And then we are talking about colder air settling in after the snow ends. Temperatures drop down to about 9 degrees here for the overnight hours, with wind chill factors down near and even below zero. And that colder weather will stick around here for your Sunday with highs in the teens. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Got you, Tim May, Matt Fontana with you. College football's rolling. Like I said, we got Army, Navy. Now we have Tarleton State and Villanova in the FCS. Tarleton State already up 7-0, and they just blocked the punt. Minus 12.5 for all you interested people out there. That line's about to move quick because Tarleton State's about to score. But I do love it, Tim, because it's like, you know, it's different with the Army-Navy game, where that's the only, you know, I would say Division I, because these are certainly Division I games, but it's got the spotlight on it. We'll talk about that game in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you get to the NFL action tomorrow. But as much as I love college football, I actually do enjoy this kind of week of a reset, and then you just get right back into it with the college football playoffs starting next week.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember exactly. I was intrigued by why they went to 12 teams instead of 16, or why they went to 12 instead of 8, you know. But the last year's play-in games, for want of another term, the way I looked at it, actually were pretty cool, you know, in some form or fashion. Yeah. But I am not, like we talked about a while ago about domes and stuff, I'm not a fan of games like of this magnitude being played in inclement weather, for example. And last year, Ohio State, Tennessee, that was pretty inclement. SMU at Penn State, pretty inclement, very cold, et cetera, for a team from Dallas. Although Dallas is used to cold weather too, believe me. They do have it, but not in the sense of the deep cold, as you want to call it. But yeah, I just think it has added suspense to the proceedings in terms of the playoffs. I just think I've never been a fan of teams having byes, though, in this kind of situation, because it should be an advantage for you. Obviously, last year it ended up not being for the byes. They turned into bye-byes, as I like to say all the time. But the bottom line is you should be all facing the same jeopardy. It means, in my opinion, the same number of games played at this level of intensity. And but it is really cool to think about what's coming next weekend.
Absolutely, and especially for the first round, Oregon is probably the only one that has. I mean, Oklahoma has the game because, again, they're just the higher seed, the home one. Ole Miss is not going to be that bad. Texas A&M will be fine. So you got a chance there with Oregon, and then they have James Madison, which they're a huge favorite kind of over, so that might actually help JMU in that game. But yeah, then you get to the Citrus Bowl, the Orange Bowl, or not Citrus Bowl because that's Michigan and Texas here, but like you get to the Orange Bowl, you get to the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and then the Cotton Bowl are the semifinal or the quarterfinal games. But yeah, I mean, that's an element kind of, you want the best teams to advance, right, at this point. You don't want to try to take out as many of those variables as you can get as the college football playoff goes on. But that all starts next weekend, obviously, with the opening round. And before, we'll be into the quarterfinals. It's also kind of interesting that there is that gap because they want to play on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, where New Year's Eve, New Year's Day is Wednesday and a Thursday this week.
Yeah.
So instead of it shorten the week, which you don't want to do, these teams get even then another 10-day layoff between the two games, or 11 days.
That's about right, though. I mean,
for some of the teams,
that's the way. That's the way college football ought to be. It ought to be 10 or 12 days instead of every 7. I mean, because it allows, if they're all worried about health, et cetera, it allows more of a, you could start the college football season middle or 1st of August for that matter, and then you could be done. People are projected maybe the national championship should always be played in the Rose Bowl. I could see that argument.
I listen to that, yeah.
Yeah, and just how cool it is out there for the most part every time. And but I would be for that, get it done, But college football is bound and determined to have a nonsensical calendar forever, it looks like, with the transfer portal opening the first week of, a 2-week window, the first January, the second, whatever it is, first week of January, while some teams are still going to be playing in playoff games. I mean, that's nonsensical. And right on down the line, all these coaching hires and fires that have happened in the strangest of times. I mean, it's just – it makes no sense. If you looked at this from the outside, you'd go, well, who came up with that? Well, clearly a committee. I would just like to see it, the college football season be done by January 1, be done on January 1 in some form or fashion. But I know that's pie in the sky.
Well, and it's interesting because you bring this up. I think it's a really interesting debate, too, because, the committee, they're going to be focused on the money. And I understand that. And they're going to be focused on that's why they own New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, and there's something to be said about the mystique of the New Year's Day bowl games and the New Year's Eve games, which I'm fine with. The national championship's got to be played on a Monday type thing, like that. That's one that I'm like, we can just move off of that, but whatever.
Yep.
But I think it's interesting with the NFL because it's always got to be this dance. It's always got to be this balance of not victimize or cannibalizing the NFL because of the networks that pay bajillions of dollars for both the NFL and college football. They don't want the games on the same days. And then it's this battle of the NFL going, well, we kind of don't care. You already paid us your money. We're going to try to do what's in our best interest. The same thing with college football. But I do think there's wiggle room coming because the NFL is going to be changing their schedule, right? The NFL wants to push the Super Bowl back to the weekend before President's Day, so everybody gets Monday off. It should always been a holiday anyway. And as they have their 18th game, as Goodell wants to go international to go to all these other spots, you're going to have to add 18 and an extra bye and all that. And that's where I'm with you, Tim. I hope that there's a little room here for college football to kind of follow the NFL and tweaking their schedule. Because I'm with you. I do like the time off. I like the little bit of time off that you have, but you're right. Starting as early as they do, and then your national championship isn't played now till January 19th. Something's just got to get tightened up a little bit here somewhere, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I agree. But, the other argument you can make is there are only 4 teams playing in the semifinals, not 131. And there are only 2 teams playing in the championship game, not 131. So, I think we guys that cover Ohio State have become accustomed to them playing an important game, every other year, if not every year, in terms of national championship ramifications, et cetera. And, you don't see it maybe from the calendar of a lot of these other teams who, by the way, are just – a lot of them are just so ecstatic about getting to a bowl game. And, of course, that's what's going to go to the wayside is going to be bowl games. If they moved to 8-16 and, this idea of moving to 24, it looks like it's got some more legs than I thought it would have because that's a ludicrous number. There aren't more than four teams right now, in my opinion, maybe 6 in this field who, when looking at them on paper, have a viable shot at winning a national championship, but there are 6 more teams in the playoff, right? And if you move to 16, there will be 10 more teams in it, and you move to 24, you can do the math. So the bottom line is you're going to kill the bowl system for the most part, just to make a little more money in the college football playoff realm. I'm not sure people won't get kind of tired of that too. So I saw where I think it was Rick Neuheisel was talking about it this week about maybe moving a lot of the bowl games as special games at the beginning of a season instead of the end of the year, right? And so they don't fall in the cracks. I mean, I remember Ohio State's played in quite a few of those kickoff classics, the Pigskin Classic, the right them down the line. Matter of fact, when they won in 2014, they played in the Eddie Robinson Classic, I do believe, way back when. 2002. So, I mean, those games meant a little bit. It kind of kicked off the football season way back when. So I could see that being, playing some of these games like in Dublin or whatever you want to call it, Ireland, special moments, and then moving on with the regular season. But right now they're on a path to kill the bowl games, and that's been part of the tradition of college football for a very long time.
Yeah, and you got teams that are 4-win teams going in because you got teams opting out and not wanting to go.
Correct.
And then you get corporate partnerships. Then you got conferences fining their schools because they don't go because the conference has an affiliation with that bowl game. And I do miss that because there's some element of that.
And you got a team bowing out because his butt hurt, and that's Notre Dame. So, one of the great attractions.
Notre Dame,
yeah. I mean, so.
That, and then I mean, we haven't gotten on the show. The Notre Dame coming out that they have the poison pill in the contract, like, oh, we're going to make it next year as long as we're in the top 12. And then you got other schools going, fine, we're not going to schedule you then.
Hey, you got to read that. When you sign these, you sign these things, you got to read that fine print, man. The memorandum of understanding, the MOU. That's crazy.
Got it. And they're going to backdoor their way in and kind of get it in. But, yeah, there's changes that need to be made. I think they're going to be. And, again, it's like it does victimize the bowl season because, we sit down. Would I have ever watched Tarleton State play a football game? No, but I'm sitting here watching it because it's on and it's fun. And, like, that's what I love about bowl season for the Duke's Mayo Bowl and the Idaho Potato Bowl and the Chiribundi Boca Raton Bowl and all that fun
This is good football,
that
though.
You get to watch.
These FCS playoffs, it's good football. I mean, I don't apologize for watching it at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I love it. All right, to the pro side we go. Some interesting things around the league. TJ Watt injured. He's out. And this sounds like this might be something that is not just out a week.
Yeah.
Could take some time to get back. A scary situation from him. And we have an official that Phillip Rivers, at age 44, going to get a start for the Colts. We'll go around the NFL. We'll do next. Fan Sports Saturday. Back with you in 2 minutes.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Columbus. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
They say glory is earned, not given. We say it's ignited by heart and ends with a boom. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Put a new sound on an old song. This season at Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
Ugh, gross. Can I come over to your house one time and you not have your husband prancing around in its tighty-whities?
Well, I can't do laundry because our septic line is clogged.
Call Dormar. They do same-day plumbing repair.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
The Ohio Lottery's Powerball jackpot has soared to at least $1 billion. That's right. Over $1 billion is up for grabs. It's the 7th largest Powerball jackpot in history. So don't wait. Pick up your ticket before 10 o'clock tonight. 'Tis the season for holiday scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Because with lots of ways to win, 6 great games, and millions in prizes, scratch-offs can turn any day into a holiday. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. You're home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
NFL with more twists and turns as the season goes on, including an injury that I don't think I've ever heard of. Tim May, Matt Fontana with you here on Fan Sports Saturday. So TJ Watt was like suspiciously not ruled out, but like the reports started coming out, Tim, that he had a lung injury. And nobody had any details on it. And it's not like, oh, an ankle injury. Like, oh, okay, he twisted his ankle at practice, right? Like, oh, he's got a shoulder injury. Like, yeah, don't we all, right? Lung injury. And they really didn't expound on it. Mike Tomlin didn't say anything. And it took TJ Watt's brother, JJ Watt, who is now a media member and does games for CBS, to come out and say that TJ Watt was getting dry needling done at the Steelers facility, and they inadvertently partially collapsed his lung by this dry needling procedure. He had to have surgery to correct that. He is already ruled out for the game this weekend. And again, I'm not pretending to be a doctor here, Tim May, but like I would imagine a partially collapsed lung. I don't think that's something you just jump up and go, yeah, I'll play an NFL football game next week in the cold and be just fine. Like what seems to be, the up and down season for the Steelers to even find themselves in the position they're in the AFC North is incredible. But losing TJ Watt in a pivotal game for them this weekend, that's a tough go. They're Monday night. They're taking on a Miami team. Like, I favor the Steelers in that game. I think they're going to win, but it'd be a lot easier if you had TJ Watt out there.
Yeah, it's not like you can fire some Fix-A-Flat in there and reinflate the lung. I mean, it's like, that's crazy. And the dry needling, that gave me the heebie-jeebies, when I was reading it. I'm just going, what? I've never had a dry needling. Although I do needle some people, but that's another story for another day. It's bizarre. I had a friend of mine, a longtime friend. He was older than me. His name's Shav Glick. He was a longtime sports writer for the LA Times, and he and his buddy Hank Ives. I mean, he covered the Indianapolis 500. Shav did for decades. Basically half a century. But got to know him really well. But one night, he and his buddy Hank Ives had dinner downtown Indianapolis, and they were walking back to their hotel, and they got accosted, and next thing you know, Shav got stabbed in the chest by this guy, pulled out a knife, and it deflated his lung so much so that he really never had full use of that lung again. And so it's a serious kind of injury, only because there are two things. Number one, for a while, you live the rest of your life with basically one functioning lung, which number two, the worst word that could ever come to mind is the word pneumonia from that point on, and so this is not that J.J. Watt suffered the exact same injury, but it sounds similar in the sense that it deflated his lung, and that's serious stuff. You don't just pop back from there, you can't go in there and like put a patch on it, although I'm sure they did in from a surgical sense, but I mean you're better off maybe taking a few more deep breaths before you get back into playing football where guys are popping you in the lower rib cage.
Well, and this was the back end of this, or like kind of maybe the secondary level to this, is like apparently the NFL Players Association is going to get involved to be like,
I'm sure they will.
Who was doing it? I'm sure like they were. And then one of his teammates was discussing like the difference between like dry needling and acupuncture and all that. And
right.
I have had dry needling done, and it's
you
trippy to get it done, but yeah.
What does it do? What does it do?
Here's the way to describe. So it's supposed to. Let me describe it this way. So, like, when they put the needle in, it's like getting a shot. They're not very thick needles, so, like, they don't really hurt.
Right.
But, like, if you have, like, a muscle strain, Tim, they'd put it in, and then imagine your muscle just starts, like, fluttering and, like, flickering. And it's, like, it's supposed to release the tension in the muscle. I've gotten it done, and I was like, oh, my gosh, it actually, like, right away you feel relief.
Yeah.
Because it, like, releases, like, the tension in the muscle. But I didn't think they were supposed. Again, I'm not a doctor, but like I didn't think they were supposed to go deep enough to like puncture a lung. So now that the PA might have to get involved, to be like, was this a team issued person? Was this somebody on TJ? Like, did TJ Watt bring their own person in here? Like, and we've heard stories. Remember when Tyrod Taylor got punctured? The doctors were trying to give him medicine, and they accidentally punctured it. So it's just added to the list of weird injuries.
Oh, absolutely, man. And the last thing you want to hear when you get, I think, dry needling is, "Oops." But not that it's funny, but Wow. I mean, I just, wow. Must have been, probably a chest injury or shoulder. Who knows what they were working toward there. But, wow, that's, I've never, to be honest with you, I'd never heard it put that way. I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know it was called dry needling. So, yeah. Best of luck to J.J. Watt, man.
And it's like you said, we don't mean to laugh, but it's like anybody with a needle around me, you're right. I don't want to hear, oops, or what am I doing? Plus, the other thing to add on, he had that pec injury. So maybe they were doing something on his pec.
I'm
or
sure.
Like, he had that injury that cost him last year that maybe was a part of it. Well,
I said JJ. I said JJ. I meant TJ. By the way, it could be Jack Sawyer gets a lot more playing time. We'll see.
I did see he should be back in that rotation for the Steelers coming up. Well, I don't want to see a grandfather get injured on Sunday either, and that's going to be Phillip Rivers. Like, Tim, it's so crazy to me. Like, I always talked about this with 32 positions that don't exist anywhere in the world, and that is 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. This is the highest league. This is the most amount of money. This is millions and billions spent on draft profiles and finding the best and contracts paid to these guys. And they can't find 32 of them. They can't find 32 of these guys on a year-to-year, in and out, that can play the position at a high level, right? You have maybe, 10 to 12 guys that you would call elite, and that is it. So with this Colts situation where Daniel Jones was playing at a really high level. Then he injured his fibula on his left leg, which then started the downturn of his play. They weren't playing all that well, even when he was in there. Now he suffers the Achilles injury on the right foot. Anthony Richardson, who was their high draft pick that fell out of favor, he's on IR because he snapped a workout band, hit him in the face, and fractured his orbital bone. So he's out. They have to turn to Riley Leonard, former Notre Dame quarterback. And was he not at Wisconsin? Am I crazy on that?
Was he what? No, he was at Duke before he went to Notre Dame.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Not Wisconsin. But so Riley Leonard, he's in there, but then he suffers a PCL injury, and they got to turn to 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. And it's I guess it's funny in a way, but it's also like this is the Colts season on the line.
Crazy.
And you couldn't find anybody else that's on a practice squad, or I'm sure they would have loved to have had Mac Jones or Gardner Minshew, right? And those guys are on other teams, which I understand, but it's just crazy that's how small and shallow this quarterback pool is, that you got to go get a guy who just got done coaching his son, who, by the way, Phillip Rivers' son is like the 7th-ranked quarterback in the junior class in high school.
Yep.
So he's really good. Gets done coaching that, basically get him off the couch, and he's got to start a game on Sunday.
But here's the thing. The reason you go this route, this is just me talking. The way I would approach it is, this guy's like 4 years older than I would like to get off the couch, right? But he's been there, done that, and he can rely on his wits as much as he can. The playbook, if you follow my drift, to maybe keep you out of harm's way, help you get to where you want to go, maybe not in spectacular fashion. Hey, who knows? You may go out there and throw 5 touchdown passes. But the bottom line is, he's a guy that has been through enough of the game to be able to make the right decisions. That doesn't mean you make the right pass, meaning you're going to be rusty in terms of the actual delivery of the football. But I don't think the middle part of the game ever leaves you. The reason he became elite in the National Football League was because that's what makes the difference between all those guys you were talking about, and the upper echelon is the muscle between the ears, the brain, and that's where Phillip Rivers never won a Super Bowl. But the bottom line is he played at an extremely high level his entire career, and sometimes ultra high level. So that's why you go out and get him as almost a guy to keep his hand on the throttle, on a train. Just, hey, he knows where to push the throttle and where not to, and big curve coming up ahead. So I understand why they went this route, but like you said, they exhausted the well before they went this route. I mean, you just named off the names they've been through this year with the Indianapolis Colts. That's a crazy roster of quarterbacks.
That's like Browns level of running through 5 different quarterbacks.
I didn't want to go that route with you, but I mean, you never know who's going to get it done for you, but there's a good chance that guy's going to get you almost, I like to call it the Moses syndrome, can get you where you see the promised land, but he can't take you down into it, right? I mean, a lot of times it comes down to that, but it is crazy to think a 44-year-old who's been out of the league and, like you said, was in basically the running for the Pro Football Hall of Fame is now going to step back in there just to play this little game he loves for a few more times.
And the Hall of Fame confirmed this week if he takes a snap on Sunday, that resets his 5-year clock, and he's got to wait till at minimum now 2031.
Now you got to have rules,
to be
right?
eligible for the Hall of
Look
Fame.
at the College Football Hall of Fame. They took Nick Saban the first year he's eligible. So I mean, they took Nick Saban the year after he retired. So I mean, all Hall of Fames have rules, I think, to be broken in some form or fashion. But we'll see how that goes, really.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Hall of Fame, this is a Hall of Fame game every single year because it's one of the favorite college football games, the service academies. You get Army, Navy today. We enjoy it every year. We'll wrap things up on Fan Sports Saturday. A little discussion on that right here on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
These savings are so good. Right now, get low lease payments on every model, like a new 2026 Elantra SE for just $119 a month for 24 months. Plus, get owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Go now. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus taxes, fees, first month payment, 12 miles per year, ends 1/2/26.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
'Tis the season for making memories. Give the gift of more time together at Dick's House of Sport and join us for family fun events all season long. Plus, climb a rock wall, test the multi-sport cage, and perfect your swing in a golf simulator. And shop the widest selection of the hottest brands like Nike, FP Movement, Adidas, Carhartt, UGG, and Stanley. Unforgettable moments start here at Dick's House of Sport. Visit dicks.com/House of Sport to see what's happening this season.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Save big on everything now at Menards. When updating your home with a fresh coat of paint, be sure to use Frog Tape Advanced. It's a premium multi-surface tape with a thin, strong paper backing, allowing you to tape around contours without tearing. Get a 45-yard roll on sale for $8.99. Good through December 14th. View our entire selection of paint and accessories today on Menards.com. Plus our weekly flyer for more great deals happening now.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at United Dairy Farmers. Registered U drivers who buy specially marked products like hot breakfast sandwiches, fresh apple fritters, iced coffee, Coke, and Pepsi can play to win prizes instantly, like freebies $1,000 each week, and the $15,000 grand prize. Because at UDF is made for you. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
Do you hate holiday pictures because of your teeth?
What if a brand new smile was possible?
No matter what the current state of your mouth.
Welcome to Runyon Dental Group, home of the Implant and Smile Center,
where gorgeous, healthy smiles become a reality.
At Runyon, we've built a team of some of the most highly trained arch and implant doctors in the entire nation. This isn't an ordinary dental practice.
We believe that everyone can have a great smile,
including you, especially you. Your new smile is waiting at Runyon Dental Group.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a common seasonal virus, but it can have major implications on a patient's heart health. Most RSV cases involve mild cold-like symptoms, but up to 160,000 adults are hospitalized each year for more serious cases. And RSV can escalate chronic health issues. If you're over the age of 60, talk to your doctor to find out if the new RSV vaccine is right for you. And learn more at heart.org/RSV.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Oh, very happy Saturday. Beautiful Saturday to all you out there. Matt Fontana, Tim May with you here on The Fan as we get ready to go for Army, Navy. Tim, is it wrong of me to want to bet on this game? I feel like it's like sacrilegious. Like these people are protecting our freedom here.
Yeah, but either way.
We get a nice little football game this afternoon. If they give me the freedom to bet, I kind of want to bet on it.
But either way, you're betting on the United States of America. So I don't think you can go wrong either way.
You can't. Navy's favored by 6. This game, and Army actually really ended the season hot. They won 5 of their last 7 games, and obviously with both of these schools, you know what? They're going to have quarterbacks that like to run. Blake Horvat's going to be the big one there for Navy, and I do expect them to be able to win this game, so I kind of like them the 6. I actually really like the over. You know, last year, they scored more than 41 points for the first time since 2004, and that was last year.
Yeah.
Over under set at 38 for this game. So I actually think they're going to score. I'm going to take Navy to win this one. Don't tell my brother-in-law I was a proud Army veteran, and I thank him very much for his service. But I'm going to take Navy in this game this afternoon.
Well, what you just revealed was your brother-in-law is not listening to the show. So, too bad for him. You know, you got to take Navy, too. I mean, the local connection with Blake Horvath, the quarterback, is crazy. I mean, we all know last year he went nuts in this game. He had over 300 yards total offense, including over 200 yards rushing. And, he's, in my opinion, he's the Diego Pavia of the service academies, right? And maybe doesn't get the run he deserves, but knowing he grew up right down the road from where I live, and then watching him do his thing. I mean, the way they took on Oklahoma in whatever bowl that was last year, I think it was the one in Fort Worth. I don't know if it's a military bowl or whatever it's called, but the way they beat Oklahoma after beating Army last year was pretty cool. And, they're coming off what? Are they coming off a win, I think, over Memphis, or is that Army? But I get
Memphis.
Yeah. Bottom line is this is a good football team, Navy is. And you look at Army. Did Army start its year? We're sitting here watching Tarleton State, right? Tarleton State upset Army in the season opener this year. That's kind of crazy. We're sitting here watching the FCS game with Tarleton State versus Villanova, but then Army got its act together, and you know what they're going to do? They lead the nation in fewest passes thrown, right? You know what's coming at you if you're Navy. Well, you kind of know because they run the option. You don't really know until the option is chosen. But the bottom line is that's why it's a fun game to watch, because now it's a little contrast of styles. They're not both just running the wishbone or the triple option. I mean, Navy will throw the ball. I mean, the Heidenreich kid, he's exciting. He's averaging over 20 yards a catch, and can set a Navy single season record for most yards receiving in a season. Today. So there are all kinds of reasons to watch this game, not the least of which is it's just cool to watch.
Oh, it is the best. And they always show the cadets and everybody in the stands and all dressed. And it is. It's one of my favorite days, one of my favorite games of the year. And you mentioned about Army because they both beat Air Force this year as a common opponent, and it was a little more Navy. But the thing about Army, they beat UTSA by 3. They lost to Tulsa by 1. They beat Temple by 1. They only beat Air Force by 3. Like, Army has basically their last part of the season only been in 1-score games, 1-point type games. You mentioned the Tarleton State loss, but then they played Tulane really tough.
Right.
Talking about Army. And then for Navy with Horvath, of course, Philly Darby, he's got a fumbling problem, though. That's what I was kind of reading, where he had 12 last year. He's lost, unfortunately, 13 this year. So that's something to keep an eye on, for this game. But I still think that it's going to be Navy in this one. But, like you said, Tim, it's just fun to sit down. It's fun to be able to watch this game. And I do appreciate that, we live in this world where it is all TV driven and it is all money, which I get. But there's still that respect. Yeah. There's still that college football, even as greedy as they are, they go, and I understand that there's the FCS games going on right now, but they let, Army, Navy have their game. It's always on, I'm shooting from the hip, but it's always on CBS. I'm assuming it is again this year. But you get, Gary Danielson, you get the best of the best on the call.
Yeah, it's a bowl game before the bowl games, the way I always look at it. It's kind of like Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, it's the intensity there is palpable. I mean, and you can make an argument that it's really tough to go from a where you have to sell out the way Ohio State did 2 weeks ago to then playing a Big Ten championship game the very next week. That's, you can argue whether that took a little bit of starch out of Ohio State's sales. I was going to say shirts, but the bottom line is, it is what it is. But this is a very special game. They played it more times. What is this, 120? I forgot what it is. I think last week, I think Ohio State and Michigan was the 121st meeting, and Army and Navy have been playing for longer than that. So it just means so much, and it's so cool from the standpoint of the special athletes that are involved in it, right? I mean, guys that 9 times out of 10 aren't going to the NFL or even the UFL. They're going to defend our country. So, that's what makes it maybe more cool than anything else.
126th meeting will happen this afternoon. It's been uninterrupted since 1930. Navy leads the all-time series 63, 55, and 7, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. Right. We're talking about the Heisman tonight. We'll see, but that Commander-in-Chief Trophy is one of the coolest ones as well. So it'll be a lot of fun today. And again, especially about the Navy team, that Tim, there was a time in the top 25. Like, they still have 9 wins on the season. Oh, yeah. Like, we're a really good team this year.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing, of course, like you said, the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, but which I think
Commander-in-Chief Trophy.
Yeah, but which goes to what is it the winner of this game, or is it the winner of the 3-way series between them and Air Force? And of course, either one of them who wins this game wins that, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's really cool that Army and Navy, but one of the highlights of pregame is the flyover, because poor Air Force, and that's not Air Force, but not Air Force. It's Army and Navy helicopters and planes and maybe a Harrier jump jet or something, but. And of course the Marine Corps, I think, roots for Navy, so you got that going for them. I know my daughter's significant other is in special ops in the Marine Corps. He's a captain in the Marine Corps down in Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. I know he'll be rooting for Navy for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, the Commander-in-Chief does include Air Force, but like you said, both these teams already beat Air Force, so it's going to be there. And then also like the rotation where this year they play at M&T Bank Stadium where the Ravens play, and then next year they're at MetLife Stadium, then they go to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. So the fact of it always goes to a big NFL type of stadium, which is always just so much fun. It's great. We're going to sit down and enjoy. Tim, I always have a pleasure doing the show with you. Nate, really appreciate you, man. Enjoy the time off, everybody, for some college football, but we'll be back next week. It'll be going, and Tim, before you know it, it'll be Buckeye time coming up in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoyed it.
A lot of fun. Appreciate everybody joining us. Don't forget Jackets hockey coming your way tonight right here on The Fan. For Tim May, Nate Puderbaugh, I'm Matt Fontana. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
If you've recently seen a photo of an older Baker Mayfield fresh off a bender, it's just Bo Bishop. Bishop and Friends.